Hello and welcome today to the Enterprise Corner. I'm your host Munyumba Mutwale. On today, I will be running on about purpose-driven enterprise, and I'll be joined very soon by Shadrach, who will actually be with me on as we do this section. Kenny will not be joining us. Unfortunately, he will not be available with us today, but he will be back in next week. So just getting ready for everyone to start with us, and we should, as I said, we should be having Shadrach in. We thank you everyone too who was with us from the Independence session. That was a really cool and wonderful session to really break down what our journey of independence as a country should look like and what we should be as well. So, welcome to all. Please give us names, where you're joining us from. Are you having a wonderful Sunday? And welcome to you, Shadrach. Thank you for joining us today, brother. How are you doing on that side? Hello, Shadrach.
Yeah,
Okay, we see. Oh, there he is. How are you doing? How are you doing
fantastic.
today, Shadrach?
Everything is okay here. How about you?
I'm
Yeah,
good. I'm good.
I'm
It's
good.
it's it's Independence Week, and we're all kick-started and ready. And as part of the journey of independence,
I'm
last time,
good. I'm
Shadrach,
good. How are you?
good, good. I think we're having a little bit of a delay. I don't know if you can hear me right now. Yeah, it appears we're gonna have a little bit of a problem with Shadrach. Sorry about that to everyone. We pray that we are all good today. Amelia, thank you very much and a happy Sunday to you. We are good and we pray that you and your loved ones are good as we go through purpose driven entrepreneurship. So, I think that is the discussion point. I want everyone to kind of write in the comment section if you're watching with us today, and anywhere you're watching from, what is purpose to you? What is the meaning of a purpose? Why is it important? Give us your thoughts on it. We'll be able to go through it. And remember, share your questions at the end because we'd like to be able to go through a few of them and just talk to them. Talk about what it is to become a purpose driven entrepreneur and to have that purpose driven enterprise spirit within yourself. But today I want to give a kickstart to what I view as the entrepreneurship or the purpose journey. And whether it's in my work in financial advisory or whether it's in my work as in business advisory for startups and growth stage companies, for me the definition of a purpose is something that is the definition of a purpose is something that contains both your vision and your mission. That's the selective point of a purpose. It's the combination of your vision and your mission. The vision being the destination that you would like to see for yourself, but not really just yourself, for your community, your society, your country, your family line. That's the destination you would like to see. And then that's the vision. The mission is taking you from the state you are in right now towards that destiny, that destination. That's why I love the words destiny and destination. They almost have the exact same root. So that's just the starting point when it comes to the definition of a purpose, which I like to try and hold on to. And then we kind of put strategies behind it. So today we're really going to be talking about 7 key things. We're going to be talking about the importance of the purpose. What is the importance or what are the benefits? We're going to talk about the 5 benefits of having a purpose, the 3-stage FSB business map. How does your business go from functional to sustainable to brand or purpose driven? Okay. Then there's the visioning process, which is tied to Habbakuk 2:2. Then there's what we call the chasm of frivolity. Okay, we all want to try and avoid that. That's what we're going to go through. And also battling obstacles, naming and battling obstacles, smart goal setting, and aspirations versus expectations. So, welcome to the show to everyone. Thank you for joining us. And then I'm going to kickstart with what we call a purpose. A purpose, people, which you should actually get through in life, is a reason. A purpose, something is created, is a reason. It's why. Why does something exist? Why do you exist? No matter how rich and powerful you get in this life, everyone thinks that the next stage of life is just getting stuff and getting stuff and getting stuff. When the reality is, the biggest thing you're looking for is to actually have meaning to your life, to actually have an actual meaning to your life. And the point of having a meaning is because it gives you quite a strong amount. So, why have a meaning? Why have a statement? Why do you have a phone? because you want to communicate with people or interact with the internet. That's why. Why do I have a microphone in front of me? Because that microphone is what I use to speak. I wouldn't have to have it if I didn't have that as the tool to speak in a much more clear fashion. So, what is the purpose of something being in existence? And the question is, what is the purpose of you? What is the purpose of your business being in existence? What's the purpose of your journey of entrepreneurship? So let's look at the purpose of vision to you. What I mean, the meaning. What is the benefits of vision to you as a person and having a life vision? Well, a vision gives you a purpose gives you 5 benefits. The first one is it gives your life meaning and significance. When something has a meaning, it becomes more memorable. Elon Musk once was asked the question, how does someone study something to make it more memorable? And Elon Musk said, attach meaning to it. When something has meaning, it's memorable. When something doesn't have meaning, it loses memorability. Your life is going to be captured in the memories of many people. What it means is how long it stays behind. If it doesn't have any meaning, it may not last. Even a brand. Today, you've got consumers who are really strong about something we call conscious capitalism, where people would like your business to actually serve a purpose, and they want the money they spend to actually also to go towards advancing purposes. So businesses have to become conscious capitalist businesses, and we're going to go through the three benefits of that just now. The second one is purpose gives you hope. It gives you this thing to look towards, which in itself does the third thing is it motivates you. There's something bigger in this world that also motivates you to get through the worst. Paul in the Bible says, and I always quote this verse all the time: "What we suffer now is nothing compared to the glory that shall be revealed to us in the future." There's a glorious purpose that will be revealed to you. So, are you going to be that kind of entrepreneur? And I think one of the biggest things, Shadrach, I'll say this, is that purpose gives you simplicity. Having a purpose gives you simplicity in that if something is not aligned with your purpose, it is not essential. You are able to weave out the essential from the non-essential, because this is what kills businesses and kills careers, because people do non-essential tasks and then they go and convolute their lives with so many things, when what they should be looking at is, why am I here? And am I spending every minute of my life actually working towards this purpose of why I built this business? This is why in Zambia, someone will start doing this business and then they switch into this, and before you know it, you don't know what the business exactly does. It's just called something, and it's got all sorts of avenues in it. And yes, it can be good, but you still need to have a core focus, because the fifth value of purpose is focus. If a person has focus, then focus allows that person to concentrate. And I always say this, Shadrach, the most valuable things in the world have the highest concentration. So if something has a
Yeah.
lot of concentration of manganese, I remember talking to my friend who was dealing in manganese, and we're looking at the difference between manganese raw, like the ore, and manganese that was highly concentrated. The concentrate itself,
Mm.
when you extract it, the value goes up 10 times. It goes up 10 times. So anything that has high concentration in it increases in value. Even your life, if your life has high concentration in it and focus on something, it increases value. Even your businesses that have high concentration in technical skills increase value. So I just wanted to quickly put down, Shadrach, of the five benefits of actually having a purpose is that it adds meaning and significance. It gives hope. It makes things simple. It gives you focus and it motivates people. I'll talk later about conscious capitalism and how that also plays as a business, but just for you as an entrepreneur. But Shadrach, what is the importance of purpose to you?
Yes, you see, remember, purpose is very important actually, but because without purpose, we can't do what we do.
Yeah.
The reason why we invest, the reason why we go to school, the reason why we seek financial advisors is because we look to something more bigger than ourselves. We look forward to a life that is more better than the one we have now. If our lives are so beautiful right now and everything we ever wanted, we've achieved it, then what do we exist?
Yeah.
What is there to accomplish? So it is purpose that gives us hope to do better. It's purpose that gives us hope to keep going, the strength to keep going, even when things are hard. So purpose is the overriding principle, it's the overriding reason why we do what we do. There's purposeful living, there's business purpose, there's marriage purpose. There are all these different purposes. All right. For example, like you did give an example that you have a microphone because it serves you a purpose. You want to speak properly so that people can get what you're able to say properly. Right. I'm using this mouse right now because it serves me a purpose. I need to be able to scroll things quicker and faster. Right. So if you do not have purpose in life, you'll be highly suicidal. That's one thing I want to mention. So it's the same with business purpose. Business purpose has got to do with the biggest reason why you exist. What is the vision? Something that you are yet to accomplish. Something that pushes you to wake up when everything else says, can you sleep? Something that makes you stand up and say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and do this against all odds. That's the purpose. So purpose is bigger. Purpose is stronger. Purpose is what gives life meaning. Some people are in existence right now and they're still wondering why they exist. Some people are accomplished, Mnyumba. They have the money, they have everything that money can buy, fantastic jobs, but they're still wondering why do they exist? What's the purpose of all this? So purpose is important because purpose is what's going to help you come up with priorities. Without purpose, it will be difficult for you to set priorities. All right. So I'm just gonna be able to share this one here. Let me just share a document quick, a document real quick, just for our friends. I did. I'm gonna share this one just real quick about purpose. So maybe we can just look at it quickly. So tell me, Mnyumba, if you will be able to see this one. I'm not sure others can see it. Are you able to see
Can't
my
see it yet.
screen?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. All right. So, oh, it's a bit slower today. What is the meaning of this? Okay, good. Yeah. Okay. Now I can comfortably share this one. Okay. Good. So,
Yeah, unfortunately, we're still not able to see it.
okay. I think I'll try again later.
Okay.
For now, yeah, I'm unable to
Yeah, no,
share this
continue.
screen.
I don't know if you so just maybe as you really have a point. I think there was a key one which I think everyone should get into their mind is that purpose should give you priorities. Like I said,
Yeah.
it gives you simplicity, priorities and simplicity. Because sometimes one of the biggest problems everyone has is too much options. We've got too
Yeah.
many options in life. So we're trying to pick what is the actual thing that we have to be doing. But in regard, we end up doing nothing because we're paralyzed by too many options and decisions. So purpose tells you, look, if this doesn't serve my purpose or the thing that I'm here for, then it's of no importance to me. Your phone
Yeah.
is not connected to the water that runs in your house. That's not your phone's purpose. So it's not connected to it. But even that does seem like an essential task, but it's not the phone's purpose. Okay. Your phone's purpose is a communication tool, not a water management tool. Unless maybe someone creates a
Yeah.
water management app. That'll be a
Yeah.
different story. There is something, Shadrach, that has come up these days called conscious capitalism. When people are
Yeah.
running businesses, and this is going to say something to a lot of the people, you're noticing that people have got meanings and causes behind their businesses now, which they're attached to. And that's what we call the triple bottom line. I got a friend named Daniel who introduced me to this. And the triple bottom line is um, profit, planet, people. How does
Yeah.
your business affect profit? How does it affect the planet? How does it affect people? How do you make money? How do you improve the environment, and how do you improve the lives of society? How have you done it through your product? Have you done it through everything? And if you create products and businesses that do that, then that's a kind of mission driven agenda where you're asking, what is the mission of this business? So a lot of entrepreneurs have to ask that question. And that's why I always tell people, start by doing something. If you have no starting point, start by doing something called a brand archetype test and go through your life, go through the shape of your life so that you are able. And shape is this acronym that I think what Rick Warren made called spiritual gifts, your heart, your abilities, your personality. So it's spiritual gifts, your heart, your ability, your personality, and your experiences. If you go through those things, you're able to see the shape of your life. Like, what is it made for? What is it useful for? I think that's the thing. So I think, Shadrach, you finally pulled this one up so that everyone has seen. So yeah, please continue.
Yes, so like I was saying, but this purpose that gives us meaning. If you look at, if for example, in a company setup, purpose is what gives us the vision. Vision is why do we exist, but purpose will help us to look into the future. How will we look into the future? So purpose helps us to come up with standards of behavior, values. So without purpose, it will be difficult for us to behave in a certain way because we don't have something bigger that we look forward to. Right. So like I was saying, anyway, that's not the exact thing I wanted to share, but it's similar to that. But anyway, purpose is what gives us the way we behave. You see, some people, Mnyomba, they behave in a certain way because they have certain people, they have a purpose. They have something bigger than what meets the eye. All right. So having purpose gives you some sort of direction in life. You're going to have some direction. There are people who sleep around every now and then. It's because they don't have purpose. The only purpose they have is the enjoyment, the tyranny of now. But if you have something bigger than just buying cars, something bigger than just building houses, something bigger than just getting married, it's going to guide your behavior. You're going to behave in a certain way that sometimes won't be understandable by others. So purpose is key. It acts as a motivation on its own for you to stand up and walk. The reason why you see people do what they do, those who are high achievers, a good example is Elon Musk. He does what he does because he has a higher purpose. So
Mm.
that higher purpose that other people can see is what drives him. And they even suspect is this guy normal? But because maybe his purpose is so high that others can't see how it's going to turn out.
Which is
So
common.
purpose gives you meaning. Yeah.
No, it's true, and there's an importance to having meaning because job satisfaction has got to do with motivation. So I think we've
Yeah.
managed to introduce the importance of purpose. We've managed to see how it interconnects with the company's vision and values, and how it affects what you do, how you behave. The corporate culture. I think what Shadrach pointed out there has to do with even corporate culture that you're going to set up, because the purpose of existence of your institution will affect your corporate culture. So let's go into the next point. And I was talking about this thing of conscious capitalism. Because conscious capitalism is, we used to have this system, Shadrach, where our lives were just aimed at making money, that it was all about that. But I think what has happened over time is that and I think this was, I was reading a paper on Forbes where they were saying why businesses want to adopt conscious capitalism. And the number one reason they pointed out was, in a time of internet, the internet itself, consumers are more aware. The level of awareness of consumers of the impacts of certain things. We're watching shows where we're seeing the impacts of the things we're consuming. We're seeing the impacts to society. They're now demanding of the business community to start addressing these impacts. When we're talking about things like poverty, mine is the impact that I'm dealing with is things like poverty. Yes, poverty, I can't go out and start giving out money to everyone. But the point I'm trying to say is that how do I teach people or guide people or advise people utilizing the skill I have? I always say to create 1 million millionaires in this country is to create a transformation of this country. And how do you do that? By showing them where to invest their money, showing them how to invest it. That's a social impact. So it's a socially conscious business that is aware of the impact it has on the lives of people, while simultaneously looking at the impact it has on the planet that we are occupying, not to make things worse, okay, but to either to preserve or to make things better. So, and then while simultaneously being of high profit value to the shareholders and stakeholders of the company. And the reason why they put out conscious capitalism is, one, the aware consumer. The second part they put up was that if you want the dedication of employees, um, there's a huge cost component, Shadrach, to running a business and not having a consciousness with that. It's like if the goal of your business is just to improve your lifestyle as an entrepreneur, that's so that you can send your kids to a nice school, then the only way you'll be able to motivate your employees is by giving them more money. That's the only way you'll be
Yeah.
able to motivate them. They're
Yeah.
not motivated by the work itself. Now, the reality is that the most motivated people are motivated by the intrinsic value of the work. It's called job satisfaction. Now, in order to be able to offer your employees job satisfaction, you have to give them responsibility and to be part of something. Everyone in this world, Shadrach, wants to feel like they are part of something. So, giving your employees a sense of your mission, the first group of people you have to sell your mission to is your employees. Before you even sell it to your customers, it's your team. Because once they understand the mission and they connect with that mission, their level of motivation becomes higher because now they feel like they have a meaning because of your meaning. So your goal as an entrepreneur is not just to sell your meaning to your customers who are going to pay you, but to sell your meaning to your employees who are going to give you their time and energy, so that when they're coming to give you their time and energy, they do so. The third thing they talked about was that it also improves your brand. Long-term branding is also connected to your purpose, because then your reason for being is connected to it. And we'll talk about that in the FSB map. And then finally, the final part that we also have to look at is higher returns over longer periods of time. The companies that are more purpose-driven are more intentional, and they're less wasteful because they know what is for them and what is not for them. So if you know your purpose that you're in, and then you see your competitor doing something interesting, you're not just going to run after them because you're scared of them. You're going to say, but is this the purpose that we're serving? Okay, is this what we have to do? Is it the purpose? I remember, just to give an example, we've had this conversation even at places like Money FM. Everyone reports politics a lot. And at Money FM, the purpose of Money FM, when you speak about them, is their purpose is to improve the financial and business decision making of people. So you ask yourself, if everyone is rushing for political news, does that political news serve the purpose of Money FM? Like, that's the conversation we've had. And therefore, we always say we want to tone down on politics and focus on economics and business, specifically because that's what the purpose is. So we make decisions based on that. And so we're not wasteful trying to allocate all these resources to tracking politicians and following them all the time. And this one says that, but we're pushing the resources, being the staff, the time, the information systems, towards business and business and economic affairs. So that's what I just wanted to give an example of how having that purpose, and it's a social conscious, because if you're not just saying our purpose is to make as much ad revenue, our purpose is to improve the life of the people who are around in Zambia so that they can make better financial decisions. Simultaneously, we're running a business that should be profitable. Like, that's what they've leveled it out. And that's a socially conscious kind of business. So what do you think, Shadrach, when we introduce this concept to entrepreneurs of conscious capitalism, where you just don't think about profits alone, but now you're expanding yourself to social impact?
Yes, actually, that's if you see in financial reporting now, we have what is called corporate social responsibility. It is becoming more of an issue, just more than just reporting financial statements. Because in the past, companies could just prepare financial statements and then they are okay. But now there's more of corporate social responsibility. So companies now are required to produce social reports, right? Because companies operate in environments, companies operate in communities. So that has become paramount that companies should also take responsibility in relation to the community in which they operate. So I think we talk about conscious capitalism and things like that. I think it's also part of the main big purpose. What is your purpose? It's just about providing goods and services, or do you want to impact the community? So I think this is quite fundamental, especially given the fact that now we have. I'm talking from the point of strategic business analysis, because I lecture at that particular course, and I've seen in the near past that we have seen more companies now being forced by corporate governance to be able to produce social reports. Right, this is why you see things such as polluter pay laws in place, but because you just can't pollute the environment where you operate and just go free. So social impact is becoming of utmost importance. It is also part of the purpose. When you see trade kings come to your area and they say they want to open a company, they say, no, we are going to employ 17,000 people in this area. We are going to do ABCD in this area. Partly because it is just not about them making money, but also them making an impact, employing the locals, right? If you see an investor comes from China, the government says, you know what, you're going to need to employ at least one Zambian to be a shareholder in this particular company, or whatever it is. The reason why they do that, because they know that without purpose, people are not going to be motivated. We want to feel attached to something somehow. If the community feel detached from the business will not survive. So the purpose, the business gives the community members the purpose. They feel the sense of belonging, and then they're able to operate freely and able to buy. Because when people get paid, they still come back to you and buy the things. So like money is circling around. So yes, that's what happens. Look at Trade Kings. If you work for Trade Kings, you get paid. You go to ShopRite, you buy Trade Kings products, you buy detergent paste, cleaning stuff and things like that. So purpose really gives a lot of meaning. Yeah.
Okay. No, and sorry about that. That just came in a little bit earlier, but and that is true. I think that's something that we have to focus on. Now, I don't know if everyone can see what I'm sharing here. This is what I
Yeah.
call this is what we call our FSB map. Now, our FSB map looks at the fact that businesses have got 3 stages, which are each broken into 2. But at the top of this, and I want everyone to pay attention to this part. I don't know if you can see the mouse move, but I want everyone to pay attention to section 3A and 3B. But just to give you the baseline, a business goes from functional, section 1A and 1A and 1B is the functional business. This is where a business is able to produce a good or a service and deliver it to the customer and operate compliant to the regulatory environment. Okay? This level here, this second level here is what we call this is functional and operational. This is profitable and sustainable. 2A is profitable and sustainable. Here you're focusing on growing revenue, becoming more profitable, creating sustainability, creating efficiency, getting maximum orders. This is about growing your business to the max, building business relationships, and differentiating your product and service from other people. This is strategic and tactical. You're often a business owner at this point. You're managing a workforce, and the goal is expansion and growth. The previous stage, I just want to go through it very quickly. You're focusing on operational efficiency, product market fit, creating a business model. You are looking at actually having a minimum viable
All right.
product in ability,
I'm not sure.
and you're
Okay.
sorry, here we're back. Yeah, we're back again. I'm saying, and your focus is your focus here at the bottom was just logistics and core function. Your focus here is tactical and strategic. Now, here at the top of your business, because we've broken this down into your core focus, your perspective, what's your structure, and what's your mindset. When you get to this point where you're a brand, okay, when you get to this point where you're a brand, you're focusing on building your brand, building an impact, creating an industry transformation. So you went from creating a product, which creates a cash flow. So you went from creating a business, so you create a cash flow, then you create a business, you create sustainability, you create efficiency. Now you're creating industry transformation. You are supposed to change. Just like companies like Ulendo. Ulendo has transformed an industry. It's a brand now. It's no longer just an app we use. It's now a way of doing things. That's transformation, which has created an impact and built a brand. And even Yango is doing the same thing now. The other thing which you add to this is you want to create permanence and you want to create a legacy. At this point, the perspective of your business is now policy and philosophy. You are philosophical. And at this point, you're an entrepreneur. You've now got managers, a workforce, and the goal is to compete and win. And at this point, you are giving more back to society than you're taking out. Okay. Yes, you're making profits, but you're giving so much product value. You're creating so many jobs. You're changing the landscape so much that you're changing things. So this is what we call the FSB map. And it's at this point. But what I want you to all think about, because a lot of you who are watching this show are startups, is that at this point, section 1A and 1B, you must have this in mind. Because one of the top seven habits of highly effective people is to start with the end in mind. So you have to infuse the DNA of your brand. What is this going to be when you're at a policy and philosophical level? This is where Trade Kings kind of is in our society now. They're kind of they're a brand in society. They're a way of doing things. They've changed the way of doing things. And like I said, even Ulendo has kind of just pushed through here and they've got into that brand in society and they're giving more back to the industry than they're expecting to take out. So that's just something I wanted to have you all look at, as that's the model that I want as many of us to follow when we're looking at that. That's brand building as a business. but it must be something you have from the beginning for you to get started. But remember, the point is to create a legacy and to build a brand and to transform your industry, because once you've taken leadership, you're controlling the way things are done. So at this point, Shadrach, when the people are building businesses and they're now trying to go through, I know that's the model that I utilize, and we built that model as a comprehensive one for us as a business, and we're looking at it for many other businesses. I've given you a peek behind the hood as to what I view as quite important. What's your view in terms of the trajectory of a business and what map it has to follow, especially to attain purpose? And by the way, sorry, people, that brand point, your purpose is your brand. One thing you have to remember is your purpose as a business is actually your brand now. It's no longer just the brand you're selling. Your purpose is now your brand. So yeah, Shadrach.
Yes. For businesses, it's a very for business, it's more complex than at a personal level. But at a personal level, you don't have to think about a lot of things. For businesses, you have a lot of factors to consider. But just as a way of answering a question, number, we want to say that for businesses, I think it's best to look at what future would you like to bring to now. Like you said, begin with the end. What future do you envision for yourself? What future do you envision for your business? Like we said, purpose is what gives you standards of behavior. Purpose is what gives you the culture that you're going to follow that supports the achievement of that particular dream. So, as a business, to have some purpose, you should ask yourself one question: what future do I envision for my business? What world that is not here now that you want to see in the next 5 years? What reality do you want to bring into what reality do you want to bring into the present? So thinking about the future and what future you hope to bring is going to force you to come up with ways, values, and models to help you achieve that particular purpose. For businesses, I think it's important that you look into the future closely, very, very close into the future. Because if you can't see the future, you can't see what future you want to see, what life, what way of doing things do you want to see. You can't have purpose. Purpose is a reason, the overriding reason why you do what you do. So why are you opening a mine? Why are you putting up a restaurant in Chilanga? Why are you doing whatever you're doing? Why are you doing that MBA? Why are you doing that PhD? What is the purpose? I asked one rich man, remember, it is a very rich man. He has lots of money, and then he's doing his masters. So I asked him, but sir, you're very wealth, a wealth person. You say you don't need, you can buy anything that money wants, that money can buy. He says, you know what? For me, it's not for a job. I just want to have some title to my name.
Pursuit of
Money
knowledge. Yeah.
alone is not enough. All right. So the purpose of him acquiring that MBA is just to have some title to his name. Not that he wants to get a job. He has everything. He has the money. He has everything he needs. But he's doing that to get an MBA. So as a business, what is the purpose of establishing? So as we are planning for your business, can you consider the future? Like Mjomba said, what will the end look like? And what will be the benefit? So focusing on the benefits will help you to come up with a much more better purpose for your business.
You know, Shadrach, let's go back to that. Just something to add in. You know, this is the debate again of lifestyle versus legacy. I always believe money is enough to get you out of trouble, but it's not enough to get you into happiness. That's, I think, what everyone.
Just
Yeah.
before you go on the same part of money, I want to add that uh, uh, people with money problems cannot really use money to sort out money problems because money does not sort out money problems. What sorts out money problems is the mindset change. I think you can continue to add that point.
Yeah, no, and it's true. But I'm saying, even if let's say you've solved your money problems, there was a football player I remember who was being interviewed, and he said he worked all his life to get to the NFL. He gave everything, he just did everything, and he says it's because he had bills, he had problems, he had all these things. And he said, if I can get to the NFL, I can get a good paycheck. He had $100,000 in debt. His first paycheck in the NFL, boom, 250,000 hits his account. All his debt is gone. He said he was celebrating. All the payments were done. His bank was sitting about 150,000 in plus. And then you know what he said to himself? He's like, it got really quiet very fast. It got really lonely. And I tried to figure out now what next. Like all the things that were keeping me alive. Some of you are being kept alive by your trouble. Like God hasn't blessed you yet, because if He blesses you, what's your purpose to wake up anymore? Because you don't have a purpose, as in you don't have
Yeah,
a reason.
yeah,
And what you
that's
will
very
do as a
true.
purpose is you devolve back to where you were,
Very
because that's the
much, very
only way
much.
you're alive. Without bills to pay and struggles to have, you don't wake up with any motivation. If I took away all your pain and all your struggles and I said everything is paid for, what next? Shadrach, a lot of people don't know the answer to that question. Like I
Yeah,
asked this question for people. If you had 5 million kwacha in financial assets, let's say in government bonds, and they were giving you about 40,000 kwacha in monthly income, what would you do now? And people can't answer that question. Like people
yeah,
don't know what, and in fact, I ask people, what is it that would motivate you to wake up now? Now you're able to
yeah,
send your children to whatever school you want. Now you can do that. Now, what is the motivating factor that gets you up in the morning and takes you wherever you want?
yeah,
What is it?
yeah,
And that's where the problem with a lot of people come is. But the question I would ask Shadrach is this thing Vusita Mkwaya brought up: lifestyle versus legacy. Lifestyle versus legacy is a very important question, because he says if you're a lifestyle entrepreneur, if it's just about lifestyle, remember what I said, if your business is just about your lifestyle, the only way to motivate people is to pay them more, because nobody wants to work to give your lifestyle a better day. Nobody loves you
yeah,
that much that they're just
yeah,
working to make you live nice. Okay.
yeah,
But if you're a legacy entrepreneur, the question is, what is the legacy? What are you leaving behind? Remember, Zambeef is an intergenerational business. That's a legacy it's left behind. Some of these banks that are here, these are intergenerational legacies that have been left behind. So the question is, what is the legacy beyond? What is the story? Like Chibuku is a legacy. As destructive as that product is to society, it has a legacy that it has built. It's part of the culture. It speaks to the way Zambians live their lives now. It's become it's we almost identify with it. So and it's simply because Chibuku is actually one of the top 25 brands across Africa. And in fact, so strong, Shadrach, that in South Africa, people think Chibuku came from South Africa. They'll say, no, we created it. In Botswana, people think Chibuku came from Botswana. Like, whatever country you go to, they love it so much, but they don't know it was a guy named Karl Heinrich who created it in Copperbelt. And he just saw guys mixing in drums. But it's become a way of life. And this is what every entrepreneur has to start looking at. How is my business going to become a way of life? A drink is a way of life. Clothing is a way of life. A school is a way of life. A phone is a way of life. A financial services company is a way of life. This is what Warren Buffett even says: the ultimate value of a business is found in how much does it become a way of life. So Shadrach, maybe
yeah.
let's
That's
speak
very
to
true.
that part. Is how does, even from our perspective, and I'll let you go
Yeah.
first and I'll answer afterwards. How does your business, to give people an example, how does your business seem to become a way of life, so that we can give people examples from us and what we're
Yes,
trying to do?
I think looking at my business, I do family finance. I talk to couples every single time. And the reason why I talk to couples is partly because I noticed that there was a problem with a lot of married people in their homes, especially with financial transparency. You find that the dad or gets paid because he's the one doing that work. Maybe the wife is not working, so the dad feels entitled. He begins to feel more superior to the wife when it comes to finances because he has more stronger bargaining power. He can decide what happens and it's final, right? And then other times you find that the dad and the mom are working, but the mom says, is my husband is going to provide. All right. That's his job. So the wife gets paid. She looks so fancy. She looks fantastic. She has nice phones, nice car. The husband looks like he's about to die because he's stressed with problems. There was no connection. So I saw that problem among couples and I said, what can I do to help to just make this business a way of life? Then I came up with the idea of family finance. I started talking to couples about family finance. The first time I talked to a couple, I did it for free, Mnyumba. I was
Yeah.
just trying these people and I talked to them for free. I gave them some budgeting tools for free. And then I was giving them some guidance for free and it worked out. So family finance has now become a way of life. People that want to go far, couples that want to just make it, they're thinking about family finance. How should we prioritize our spendings, our budgets? How should we put our monies together? How should we plan for health, for sickness, for our children's school fees, for our children's wedding? So people now have embraced family finance as a way of life, even those who don't know what it is. But now people have become financially literate so much so that now they're not willing to spend money without planning for it because they know it's hard to make money. Impia shida kalipa mnyumba. You just get paid and everything disappears. Shida kalipa. You understand?
Yes.
So now to reduce that barrier, because I noticed something else again. One time, remember, I had a friend of mine was about to get married, and then there was Chimbusa was Chimbusa trying to, give him the traditional counsel. And here's something I'll never forget. This man said that if you want to last longer in your marriage, it's not everything you're going to tell your wife, especially things to do with money. Have some money put aside for emergencies. I think it sounded very nice. The symbol says, no, that man. He tells this young guy, says, don't tell your wife everything. All right. Which is okay. But he also tells him, especially money, have something to yourself for emergencies. And I think it's a good thing. But I was thinking, what if you have money you've hidden and then you die? Who's gonna know you put some money aside? What if you have a bank account as a husband with a lot of money, but because we are told that, you know what, don't tell your wife about the money that you have. So what that does to young couples and young men, you begin to look at your wife as a thief. That's what I was observing. A lot of husbands treat their wives as if they are thieves. All right. So they are okay with everything, the catering and everything. They are okay, but they're not okay talking about money because money is sacred. Who has made the money sacred? Our traditional culture. So I saw that problem in marriages, and I said, you know what? I think I can make a course that can help couples to begin to say, you know what? Your wife is not a thief. All right. Your wife is not stingy when she tells us you can't get money and send it to your dad or your mom because you have problems at home. Can you have priority so that when you give money from your salary to your parents, it should not bother your wife, all right? It should not bother your husband. It should be a mutual thing because you've planned together, all right? And I've noticed that people that have come from my course, Mnyumba, they have stronger chains of love than before because money unites people. When there's that proper communication with money, couples, they become united because they have purpose now. They have something they are looking forward to achieving as a team. They're going to say, no, we're going to build a house, mommy. How are we going to do it? All right. And then they begin to make a plan. They say, what, we're going to spend this much when you get paid. We're going to help your mother with that amount. I'm going to help my brother that amount. So family finance has become a way of life. And I honestly, maybe I will not be there to see how big it's going to grow, but I am standing on firm ground. But my business is becoming a way of life because now a lot of couples are now coming in for family finance. They are calling in family finance every single day. I receive a comment, I receive a text. Somebody tell me, "Thank you so very much. Our life is not the same. Thank you so very much." So that shows that really. So what made me make my course become a way of life? Because I noticed a problem in homes, and I thought if these things can be implemented, it can make sense. Think about it, Munyumba. When people are about to get married, they talk about a lot of things. But check the statistics for divorce in the world. Reason number 2 why people divorce in this world is lack of financial compatibility. So I thought if this thing is so important that people can divorce, why can't we include it in our way of life? That's why I came with the idea of family finance and then started focus on family finance. I think it's doing very fine, remember. Thank you for that fantastic question.
Is it number 2? Hey, I think it's number 1. It's next to family, extended family. Extended family and money.
It used to be number 1 some 3 years ago, but the latest statistics show that the number 1 reason in 2022 for divorce, in 2021 for divorce, is infidelity. All right, so infidelity has surpassed financial compatibility.
Who had the time to cheat during a pandemic? You were on lockdown. How are you escaping home? There were lockdowns. Who was cheating during the pandemic?
Infidelity has surpassed financial compatibility, financial problems. Because in the past, for the past few years, it was finances were number 1 when people were divorcing, but now it's on number 2. So they fluctuate. So this year we have infidelity on top. So I was thinking, okay, if we can have something so important that people divorce because of lack of it, why can't we make it a part of life? And that's why I came up with that course where we take up couples to come and do family finance. So just to take this opportunity, those of you who are watching us, we have a class coming up. Please enroll for family finance. We're going to help you to just structure your life in a way that facilitates understanding. Marriage, people should not just finances, if they are well handled, they increase, they improve affection. What draws affection is lack of financial compatibility and transparency, because you begin to think your friend has money when they don't have the money. Why? There's no that way of life of being open about monies. So the moment couples begin to talk about monies in much more open sense, it also builds trust. All right, it builds trust and improves happiness. So I think that's what, to give an example for my business. That's how my business has become a way of life. Mnyoma.
And I'll just go a bit further, just so everyone can also see it. Improving things like family finance improves the cohesion of marriage. Improving the cohesion of marriage improves society. I put up something earlier saying that one of the reasons you find Jewish and Indian families doing very well in society is because they focus on family, education, and enterprise. Those guys have
Yeah.
got strong families, very strong families, where they hold on and they get through and they build things together. Wealth is mostly built by married couples who can work together. Okay, a lot of wealth. There's higher saving rates and higher wealth amounts that you find. Home ownership is found with couples who work together very well. You also find that children do much better in school when they go to homes where the husband and wife are working together very well. So when you can see that cohesion in people, and if money is a thing that's coming between them, what Shadrach is solving is the longevity of family and the sustainability of family and the socio-economic impact that family has in society. It improves, like I said, education. It decreases crime. Good families are the bedrock of society, and that's what his business. And you are allowed to make money doing something good. People, I'd like to get this out of your mind. Poverty is not virtuous. Okay, you are allowed to make money doing something good. God gave you a gift for a reason, to do good and to also give you some good while from it. Okay, so that you can do the two simultaneously. Shadrach is gifted with personal finance. He's gifted. He's taken his work as a chartered accountant to the homes of this country, to the people who find value in what he's doing, and is able to now try and bring them through. So this is something that he's right. It's becoming a way of life in that it's impacting the world positively. To give you,
Yes.
I was just adding to what you were saying into
Yes.
that. From us as yeah,
And
sorry.
just remember, maybe just a quick one, just to give just a quick overview. Remember, I did carry out a quick research, that I would just like, once you give your comment, just come and add to what I was saying, as to what also even led to me adjusting more in terms of family finance.
No, I was just gonna give my our business as well, Zato Financial, which is where you find bond education, where I've taken my
Yeah.
financial advisory work. And one of the things I realized in Zambia is we don't have sustainability. I'm driven. My the thing that speaks to me is self-determinationism. That people must be able to chart their own path as a country. And I hated the fact that Zambia was dependent on always offshore support, investors. Everything was about the outside. And I said, but what's the difference between the outside world, where these investors are coming from, where they do their own stuff, and us? And I said the difference is they've built wealth. They've focused on building wealth. Now, I've worked in the stock market, I've worked in fund management, I've worked in what's it, bond brokerage. Because of that, I knew one thing: wealth is built in financial markets and it's built in business markets. Entrepreneurs and savers and investors are where wealth is. And if you build a wealthier society, you build a more self-sufficient society. The people can start to make their own decisions. The government is
Yeah.
dependent on the people, as opposed to the government being dependent on foreign investors and therefore selling the land from under you all the time.
Yeah.
The government is now dependent. The government is looking to its people. It's if it gets its tax money from its people, it's answerable to its people. Because right now, the government of our country is answerable to 250 foreign companies more than it's answerable to us. And I found it abhorrent. So I said, what is the number one challenge that people are having? They're not educated in assets. When you ask them about bonds, they'll say, I don't even know what that is. Every time I kept on speaking, people were like, what is that? What is that? What is that? And I realized it's an education problem. People don't
Yeah.
even know what these things are to even know that they can invest
Yes.
in them. And they're getting
Yes.
swindled on the side of the road trying to do all sorts of things instead of investing. So I said, why don't we channel our people? And as a person who has worked in the market, I have gifts in speaking and teaching. I am knowledgeable of this area. I said, let me educate people. I'm also a licensed advisor. Those who get educated, let me advise them. So we've even started to launch advisory tools. The first groups of people who I dealt with when I was doing this, the first sessions I'd do them for free. I'd go on TV shows for free, all sorts of things, to try and make sure that I could get a message out. But now I took a structured approach to make investing a way of life, to make investing part of what people are doing. Now, I'm also going to be targeting later in our business. We're trying to target entrepreneurs. That's why we're doing the enterprise corner. This is part of our efforts because we know that the more millionaires, I also took a list, Shadrach, and I looked at nations by millionaires, the countries that have the highest amount of millionaires. And you know which is the country which has the highest number of millionaires per capita, and that's Switzerland. Switzerland is the country which has the highest number of millionaires per capita. About 14% of Switzerland's population are millionaires. One in every 6 Swiss people is a millionaire because they invest their money. And I ask myself, why do the Swiss have a huge composition of millionaires? And they simply said that the Swiss people invest 42% of Swiss people invest in the stock market and bonds and financial asset, and 8% of Swiss people start businesses, versus Zambia, where 0.6% of people invest in the stock market. 0.6, think about that. 44% versus 0.6, and then about 0.25% of adults are employers versus 8%. So if you can see where the problem is, now think about Switzerland as a country versus Zambia. Switzerland is this tiny a tiny population of people, but in this 6 million population, they've managed to pump out 1 million people who have $1 million in net worth. Now look at the lifestyles of those people. Look at the power those people have. Look at the choice. They take their children to private school. They can educate them. They have choice. They have freedom. The Swiss government is dependent on the Swiss people. They're not dependent on American investors or Chinese investors or this one. They're dependent on the people of their country. So I looked at Zambia and I said, one of the reasons we're not performing this freely is because we build a wealthy economy, but we never build a wealthy people.
Exactly.
And my product now is aimed at creating a wealthier people, teaching you how to put your money in bonds, teaching you how to put your money in stocks, advising you on how to do it. And we're launching something called trade facilitation coming soon. We'll actually be working on how to get you to actually do the transaction. So I'm taking you all the way from you knew nothing to you're actually investing now. And now this has become a part of your life. And I want this to be a culture in society. So that's what we mean. That's what I meant when I say my business is also about trying to become a way of life. And that's what it was born to teach and diagnose, advise, push people towards it so that more people practice it. I didn't need a government policy to do it. I said, if I can just change one person at a time, then it becomes a culture. And once it catches fire, more people will practice it. So the numbers I just wanted to give you in terms of the top millionaire nations: Switzerland, which has a high entrepreneurship community; Australia, 11% of them are millionaires; Hong Kong, 10% of them are millionaires, but they're also entrepreneurs and investors; America, 9% are millionaires. These are your top 5, and New Zealand, 9%. So these are your top 5 countries which produce millionaires in this country. China became better as a country because they went from 38 millionaires to 5.3 millionaires. Look at that leap. Okay, they have wealth in that country. They don't have to run after other people to tax. China doesn't look for investors. Investors beg to get into China because they're self-sufficient. They have their own millionaire class to the point where we even ask them for money. Do you know how many African countries? Are in this list of the top 40 millionaire nations? Would you like to take a guess, Shadrach?
No. I've not really.
Egypt and South Africa.
Wow.
The top 40 millionaire countries in the world are Egypt and South Africa. There are Egypt. South Africa, in terms of millionaires per capita, is ranked at number 35. Egypt is ranked at number 40. But in terms of number of millionaires now, in terms of the total number of millionaires, America has the biggest share of millionaires in the world. Egypt is number 36. South Africa is number 37. Egypt has 87,000 millionaires. South Africa has 86,000 millionaires out of populations of 50 million people and above. Only 1 in 1,000 of them is a millionaire. In Zambia, we have 1,000 millionaires in this country. 1,000 out of 9 million adults. 1,000. Okay? 1,000. And then that is where poverty comes from. So what have we done to alleviate it? Have we taught them the ways out of it? Have we changed their mindset? Just like you talked about, Shadrach. This is what we're
Yes.
talking about. So I wanted to just give an example of us as a business, how we're looking at it, not from the fact of, yes, I want to make a profit, but I also want to make a difference. That's why I say I want to see 1 million millionaires by the year 2050. I say that all the time because I want to see a difference. It's in my heart.
Yeah, and
So
you are very right. Yes, you've made your business a way of life. Guys, I must confirm I've been to Mnyumba's class, and I can assure you it's fantastic. Please enroll for bond education. And it's becoming a way of life because now we are diversifying. You have some money in stocks, some money in bonds, some money in real estate, some money in this business. It's a way of life now. And now when I look at my business, Mnyumba, just as I wanted to conclude, I wanted to make money out of it. But also I wanted to make an impact. So somebody can see why they are paying me for talking to them. Have you seen? So I did a research between February of 2021. It went all the way up to June 2021. And we did announce the results on the 14th of June 2021. Guys, this was not a comprehensive research. It was a mini research we did on 36 married men. All right. Now here's what we found. And this is what even drove me even more to continue with family finance. Mnyumba, I was amazed to learn that, guys, I hope there are no kids, but I'm just gonna, I was amazed to say that most of the married men do not kiss their wives. We did this research, Mnyumba, and I'm going to tell you why this does not happen. They don't kiss their wives regularly, on the regular basis. Why? Because out of 36 married men we interviewed, Mnyumba, out of 36 men, only 6 confirmed that they do kiss their wives on a regular basis, out of 36 married men. Now, what is going to shock you here is that 6 confirmed kissing their wives on a regular basis, and out of these, about 4 are financially stable. So out of the 6, only 4 are financially stable. The 2 are not financially stable. And then about 11 married men do it once in a while, and the remaining 19 could not even remember the last time they kissed their wives, despite having good sexual relations routine. They don't do the kissing. So now this should be able to give somebody wake up number. And these are some of the reasons they told us. They said it appeared to me that more of the married women were using like their mouths as a quarreling tool, rather than a tool that you can use to negotiate for a better seat at the table. This is my finding, number. And I issued these results in June of 2021 June. And now the reason is this. Why were our women so bitter? All right. It appeared to me again that our women were so bitter, partly because they were not involved in the decision-making process. So the tempers were always high. All right. So in the end, our women were always using their mouths as a quarreling tool rather than a soothing tool to just calm you down when you're stressed. Thank you so very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So now, if you look at one of the reason number 2 that we found was that among the biggest reason why those men who are not kissing their wives regularly, those 19 had a lot of serious financial problems, financial related distress. They were in a lot of debt. Most of them were earning a very low income. All right. So even a low income contributes to reduction in affection. That's what we found out. So I was looking at all these problems. So if you can have a people who live together, they say they love each other, they're able to have sexual relations, but they can't kiss for months, they've forgotten. There's affection has reduced. What makes you want to kiss somebody? Because you feel your affection. All right. Now, if you go to the other one, the third one, that about 5 men out of these 6 openly said that they enjoyed kissing their wives. 1 man did not enjoy it, just did it for formality. That's how this 1 man said. Now, sadly, about 8 men said they failed to engage more, partly because they feel guilty due to the fact that things are not okay financially. There's no food at home. So most of these men are not able to engage into even kissing their wives was partly because of the guilt that they keep feeling. It's like you come home and then you look at your hungry wife. There's no food at home. You look at your children. Then how are you going to engage into these relations? So it's because of these things that men. Now I was asking them. We asked them. We said, "But why do you communicate with your wives about this?" They said, "No, but most men do not communicate." About out of 36, 22 were able to communicate to their wives. So out of 36, 22 are not able to communicate to their wives about their financial stress. They acted like MacGyvers, pretending everything is okay. I'm going to provide. So men were not opening up to real life situations to their wives. So now, because there was that lack of communication, the man is hiding to himself. He says, "No, what? I'm gonna provide." He's quiet. He's dying inside. He gets paid, all the money is taken away from him. It's painful to just see money leave your hands, even though it is going to your wife. That's just the fact. So men were not open enough to talk to their wives about their financial problems. So when I looked at all these findings, remember, it's a big report. I can't summarize it here, but when I looked at all these findings, I was motivated. So there's a real problem in homes. Affection has gone down because of lack of financial transparency, lack of just being able to open up and talk about money properly between husband and wife. So how can I contribute
Didn't need a study to
to?
know that. Needed to just
Yes,
be married for 7 years myself to know that.
yes,
I can
yes.
tell you.
So I started to contribute to create this course so I can make money out of it, but also contribute to people's happiness. And one of the overriding moments was when one man called me. He's about 54 years old, and he tells me, "You know what, young man, I know you're younger than me, but I want you to know that I put you in my place that you can live longer. My marriage has changed. You know, my wife and I now have a poultry that we are running, and now we are doing fine. Thank you so very much for this program. Please don't stop. I know many people can believe. And I know when you get feedback like that, you say,
Yeah.
okay, my business is making me a living, but also it is changing lives. So that's what gives me the strength now to keep now adjusting. Can you begin to make models, budgets, models, things to help couples come up with a purpose? Not just saying I love you, but also something to keep them busy as a couple together to strengthen their bonds. And I've discovered so far, remember, couples who are working together and investing together, they are more often than not seen together. They are more attached to each other. Even though they have problems, they can argue, but the chains of love are stronger. They can argue quickly, they are back. They're not gonna
Yeah.
sleep without talking. So I think that's what how my business has become more of life. Remember.
So what I want everyone to get from that is you don't have to choose between a profit and a purpose. You don't have to choose between making an impact and making money. You
Yeah.
can make money making an impact. And this is the problem I think in this country. People feel guilty making money and they want to use the word help. No, you're serving someone. I want even to tell you that you're serving
Yeah.
someone's need. And
Yeah.
the only thing I'll tell entrepreneurs is this: if your business solves an active problem in society, there's no problem charging money for it. Okay?
Yeah.
That is how you sustain your business and grow your
Yeah.
business. There's nothing wrong with it. And the people who value what you're doing, I've actually realized that even when we increased our prices properly because we're trying to sustain the business now, we actually found that we actually even had much more, we had a different group of clients who are even appreciating it as well. Not to say the previous ones didn't, but I'm just saying that people appreciate the service.
Yeah.
People will pay for good service. That's why people even go and buy foreign products and stuff. The moment they have more money, they'll leave you and still go for something better.
Yeah.
In fact,
Yeah.
what you want when your product is a way of life, even if someone gets richer, I think the key for me, Shadrach, is when a product is a way of life, even if someone gets richer, they're not going to leave you. Okay?
Yeah.
Think about
Yeah.
like a man who maybe started out with a woman because that's the only woman who would date him when he was poor. Then the moment he
Yeah.
goes up and becomes something, boom, off is gone. And the
Yeah.
reality is that it's because that's what he could afford then. But if that's
Yes.
what you want, being a way of life for somebody is what you want. There are people, Shadrach, who drink Coca-Cola, whether they are rich or they're poor, because that's their way of life. There are
Yeah.
people who eat certain things because that's their way of life. So
Yeah.
being a way of life also allows you, it takes away that risk that maybe a customer was just paying for your services because they were broke. But now that they're rich, off they go to someone else. And every
Yeah.
time the economy improves, your customers start leaving you for someone better. You
Yeah.
feel almost cheated on all the time. But just to put to
Yeah.
put this down, when we're talking about vision, when we're talking about purpose, the first step of a purpose is a vision. Shadrach wanted to
Yeah.
see more happy couples and intimate couples. I wanted to see a wealthier and financially liberated society. So many things. There's something, the difference between a purpose driven entrepreneur and an opportunist is that they see something that is not yet. And they are now driven to bring that to life through through their enterprise. Their business becomes a vehicle, yes, to be profitable and to build them wealth, but also to move society towards that which they see. An opportunist sees people make money and they line up right behind them so that they can just scrap off what they can get. They're not really interested in the impact that they want to bring to people. And I've seen it. You'll start a course today, Shadrach. You'll start family finance today. Somebody
Yeah.
will say, no, even me, I'm doing it because they're just trying to get out of being broke themselves.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they don't have that, and that person won't last long because they
No,
don't
they
have the
won't.
resilience
They
you
won't.
have. You
Yeah.
are driven by something that's hit your heart. That's the
Yeah.
difference. There's a vision you have. So the first step I'll tell everyone is what I call the vision process. And the vision
Yeah.
process comes down to something from, it's the book of Habbakuk 2:2, and it's a very famous verse. And I put it up for everyone earlier. Write the vision, make it clear, so that he who reads it may run. And there are three things. There are four things actually specifically that you must pay attention to. One is to have a vision. Once you've
Yeah.
had a vision, write the vision. Step two is to write
Yeah.
it. This is where the mistake
Yeah.
happens. People have visions, they don't write. I remember I went to a course called Vision 101 with this lady named Dr. Felicity Joy. And yeah, there you go. I went to Vision 101 with her, and she did this. I'm actually taking my first group of my clients, some of my clients, to go and do a pilot group because I want to do something called financial visioning. Because I'd like people to not just only invest their money for the future, but to see the future that they're investing their money for, so that they're
Yeah.
more determined and resilient and they're more inspired to do it every single day. And I've seen it, Shadrach. Like when I give someone a financial plan, the first thing they do is they breathe out, like they breathe a sigh of relief because it now
Yeah.
looks possible. Then the second thing they say is, what can I do more? What can I throw in more to make this happen? Because now
Yeah.
they're inspired. Somebody who maybe didn't want to save now even wants to put even more. They want to put more
Mm.
because they're so inspired to see this come to life.
Because now they see
So
something that they didn't see before.
exactly, to let people see something. So Dr. Joy did this with me. When I saw the business, I saw it. I looked at my life and I said, there's so many business opportunities I can take. But the impact I really want to make, which is next to my heart and the skills I have. And it was a 4-week session. I was doing it 1 hour a day. She's in Chicago. She does it via Zoom. And we were going through it. It is wonderful that when I saw my vision, it's like I leaped out of bed. I couldn't believe what I saw. I saw it. Then once I saw it, I kept on saying it. I kept on saying it and writing it. I wrote it and I kept on saying it. I was calling Matthew every day. We kept on talking. Then once I wrote it, I kept on refining it. Because once you see it, it says, write the vision, make it clear. Now, once I saw it, I kept on refining it. Because my eyes had this thing of, okay, what am I seeing? What am I seeing? I kept on writing it. The next step is to make it clear. Convert your vision into a plan. Once that is the step of making it clear, making it simple, in a way that's consumable to the human eye. People can't see your vision, but they can see your plan. That's what they can see. And in fact, your plan makes your vision even more clear. So when you write your vision, you write it in words. Make it clear, turn it into a plan. Okay?
Yeah.
So have a vision, write the vision, make it clear. And it says, he who reads it may run. Communicate it to you and your team and run with it. So run
Yeah.
means action it. Because if that vision stays in your head, it's called a dream. If it comes out of your head, this is action. This is an actual real life vision coming to life. So the visioning
Yeah.
process, which I went through, which I loved, I wrote it, rewrote it, I turned it into a plan. And we just said, let's start. Where's the easiest place in this vision we can start? And we build it brick by brick, the way somebody builds a house. So putting that together, I'll tell everyone, Habbakuk 2:2, write your vision. So have a vision, write a vision, refine it, make it clear. In other words, convert your vision into a plan and then run that vision, communicate it and run it. Because when people see a vision, like I told you, once I show people, they see something that inspires them. Vision inspires your employees. It inspires your customers. It can even inspire your regulators to want to give you an opportunity. It can inspire the government to support you. Vision,
Very
strong
much.
vision, inspires the people around you as well to rally behind you. Visionless people are drawn to a person with a vision. So why do you think people love Apple products so much, Apple phones and those things? Because Steve Jobs was such a visionary of the world that we want. They're all buying his products because they want to be part of the Steve Jobs vision of the future. That's what you're buying when you buy an Apple phone. So when you're buying someone's product, which is a way of life, you're buying your way to be a part of that person's vision. So that is what I call the visioning process. Shadrach, what do you say about the process of going from a vision to turning it into action, going from vision to action?
Yeah, I think it's something that I think I've always mentioned that when you see something here, when you know how to do something, and then you are not able to do it, then you don't know it. It's a Bible
Yeah.
principle, and it says to know and not to do is not to know.
James, yeah.
There are lots of people, Munyumba, if only they gave that thought a chance, even just once, Munyumba. If they just give it a chance, let me just give it a try. Today, they could have been by far better than all of us. So
Yeah.
we have to move from just dreaming to action. And do you know why that is important? It's part because that is where God blesses us from.
Yeah.
God does not give us blessings because we have a vision inside. No, God gives us blessings because we are doing something about that vision. And I'm just real quick. Let me just read for you one of the scriptures that has motivated me to do what I do. Mnyomba. It's in Ecclesiastes chapter 11. This is a beautiful scripture I've always looked up to and say, you know what, whenever things don't seem clear, I just come and say, you know what, let me just read it. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 11, it says 5 and 6, and it says, just as you do not know how the Spirit operates in the bones of the child inside a pregnant woman, so you do not know the works of the true God who does all things. Sow your seed in the morning and do not let your hand rest until the evening, for you do not know which will have success, whether this one or that one, or whether they will both do well. Now, why do I love this scripture, Nyumba? Several times, most of us, we want to decide for God how He should bless us. All right. It is not ours to decide how God should bless us. Ours is to do what we can for that thing that we envision, so that we can give God something to bless, either this or that or everything we are doing. All right. So it's not okay to just have a vision, because God said you do not know how God operates. Just like you do not know how the bones are growing in the womb of a pregnant woman. So yours is to do the work and then let God do His part. So no matter how we pray, if we can't give God something to bless, our vision will never blossom into reality. So we must move from just imagining, from just fantasizing and feeling good, into actually putting forth work, giving God something real to bless. I prayed for many years for a job. I would cry in the night, midnight. My cousin is sleeping, and I'm crying at midnight. No job. I'm broke because I was fixed. I wanted God to just bless me with a job. I did not really see the other way God was blessing me. I did not see the value of my fantastic memory, how I remember things very fast. I didn't see that can benefit me more. I was just praying, God, I need a job. God, I need a job. But did not appreciate my knowledge that I was acquiring that I can use and benefit myself, because I was fixed. The moment I learned that no, I should just give God something to bless. I don't know if it's going to work for me, but let me do what I can. And boom, before I knew it, I realized, oh, God has already blessed me. Let me
Yeah.
just pick this thing up. So
Mhm.
ours is to move from just having dreams into giving God something to bless. That's the key, guys. Do something about that which you want to achieve. Don't just dream it. Don't
Even
just
step
write
one.
it.
Just do
Take a
step
step.
one.
Just take a step. And this is what I always tell couples in my sessions, remember, that you know what? You can have dreams. It's okay to dream what you want to dream. It's okay to what you want for yourself. But it's not okay to just dream and hope God will bless you and pray God will bless you. No, because God does not encourage laziness. So God can help you when you give Him something to bless. It's like you are in the exam, then you say, please, my Father, please, God, help me pass this exam. No, it won't work. God cannot help you remember things you've not studied. It will not work. So if you've studied, you've given God something to bless. He can help you remember those things because you've worked for those things.
We have
You've
a
given
Holy
Him
Spirit for
something to
that.
bless. Yes. So it's important that when you have a vision, you begin to make steps of how can you bring that vision into reality. You may not really see it clearly, all right? But if you
Mm.
have that vision, you put it in writing, and then you say, how can I get to the end? The best way to
Or
get to
even
the
just
end
the first, just
is
even
to
the
get
first five
started.
steps. Thank you. Take the first
Yeah,
five steps.
just to get started. And boom, before you know it, everybody's simply, what may go say MPR? People are just wondering where your money is coming from. Because you had a vision. There are two things I would like to I tell my clients. I say, no, if you are given money if you have to choose between money and greatness, a smart man would choose money, but a wise man will choose greatness,
Thank you.
because money follows greatness.
Just like what Solomon said, he asked for wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of asking for money, he asked for wisdom because he
Yeah.
knew money follows wisdom. If you
Yeah.
know the way these things happen, and I'll say, Shadrach, just to even add to that, we had this grand vision. We said, look, we want to see millionaires in this country. And we said, let's start with one lesson. Let's switch this advisory, because like I said, I've worked in so many institutions. So let's switch this and just go into, I've been an analyst on the news, I've been an analyst everywhere. Let me open up a classroom. Let's start with one. I'll open up one classroom. 50 people pitched up. Okay. Online, we open up 150 people. From those 50, we have passed the 1,000 mark. And we're getting towards 2,000 because of taking that step with that first 50. A lot of people like to dismiss their visions because you are thinking of the big vision, but every big vision that has been actualized started somewhere small. Nike, for example, let's give that. I always give this example. Nike, that guy started with 12 shoes, which he then used to raise capital to buy 1,000 shoes. Nike, as a company, sold 1,000 shoes in its first year. Okay, he's there in that book. He even says it. We sold 1,000 shoes. We made $8,000 in our first year of business. If you read his book, he says that. Do you know how much they make now? They sell 800 million shoes. 800 million today. Okay, because they started.
Yeah, that's very true, Mnyumba. That's very true. So, guys, we have lost Mnyumba. Yes, so like we are saying, guys, it's important to move from
somewhere.
just
Yeah. I was saying start somewhere, start where you are. That's a serious important part. Let's go into something interesting. Why having a purpose, being a purpose-driven entrepreneur is extremely important. It's something, Shadrach, I call the chasm of frivolity. Okay, now the chasm of frivolity is actually a term I made it up, but it's something that you should understand. The chasm is like it's a hole. A chasm is like a ditch where things go missing. You know, that's why we call it a chasm. But a frivolity is now just the silliness of life, the things that really don't have meaning. They're substanceless, and there's what I call the chasm of frivolity in life. Maslow's hierarchy of needs has got about 9 levels, which we don't really pay attention to. But I'm going to give it to you about 8. There are about 9 levels of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, not 8. Sorry, there are 9 levels, and those are physical needs, security needs, social needs, personal esteem needs, experiences. We call these beautiful experiences, emotional needs, and knowledge needs, self-actualization, and transcendence. That's like going to heaven. Like a Christian's ultimate goal is going to heaven. Transcendence is having a spiritual experience, maybe actualizing a vision, seeing a creation. You know, that's a transcendental experience. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people get lost in, if you don't have a vision in life, you get lost at sea. I call it getting lost at sea. Okay. You know, when a ship is lost at sea, it just sails it never hits a destination. So the C actually stands for social, esteem, experience, and emotional. That's what being lost at sea means. And that simply means that once you have met your basic needs, you've got food, you've got a roof, you've got utilities, you've got this, and then you've got security, you've secured your needs, you've got employment, and you've got a stream of income to do that. Most of your money and your energy, the majority of your finances, time and energy will be lost at sea. In other words, all your money will go to social experiences, making myself feel high esteem. Like, okay, let me get the latest phone so that I can have high esteem. I've built this business so that I can have a lifestyle, which gives me social esteem, experience, emotion. All things that when you die, nobody's going to care. No one will care when you die. Nobody is going to count what phones you had. Nobody is going to remember you for what school you sent your children to. Nobody is going to remember you for these things. No one at all. So the majority of your resources, your business, and your profits are going to go to things that the moment you die, gone. So that's what I call the chasm of frivolity, where your money and your essence will all go into there. Your whole time, you will waste your existence in the chasm of frivolity. But if you have a vision, Shadrach, you will sacrifice those things because most of those things that people spend money on, and I'll tell you people this, some of you are building business. I want to buy a car. I want to buy all this. I want to buy all that. Most of these things is an emotion. if you have studied marketing, and especially modern marketing and advertising of today, and if you read any marketing and advertising books, you will learn very quickly that most marketing is aimed at emotions. Even the marketing we do, even the marketing anyone does, most marketing, from even a Facebook post and the way it's written, it's meant to elicit an emotional activity. Let me give you a simple example to anyone. If you see an advert, I've seen those, what's it? Is it a Fruit Top? There's a Fruit Top advert, I think, that plays one of these Trade Kings products. And the whole advert is people are dancing, they're jiving, it's a picnic party, and they're sharing cups of this drink. Majority of that advert, you're seeing people dancing and having a good time. So do you know what they're selling you? They're not selling you the juice. They're selling you the feeling of having a good time with friends, the feeling of happiness.
Yeah.
So you are buying that brand because of they're telling you that in this bottle, you will feel like the people in this advert. Do you know that whenever you see an advert on TV, I want everyone to do this. When you see an advert on TV, watch ZNBC, whatever it is tonight, and count how many seconds of that advert was the actual product in that advert. How many seconds was the actual product? Not the feeling, the problem that we're talking about, everything. How many seconds? Because most of what you're being sold in this world, why do some people buy, Shadrach, why do some people buy 40 kwacha juice and others buy 18 kwacha juice? Because between 40 and 18, there's emotions. That is the chasm of frivolity. You're telling me a Vitz can't get to the same destination that a Benz can get to?
It can.
A Vitz and a Benz can get to the exact same place. But that distance that you're paying is called the chasm of frivolity, your emotional spending. And I want you to
come on. I think a Benz is comfortable, but come on. It's just comfortable.
I'm not saying it's not comfortable. It says, listen, people, Shadrach, don't sell yourself out. People already know. But what I'm saying, when I say the chasm of frivolity, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have those things. And I think people, don't get me wrong. You can have nice things. But this is the difference. If you have nice things without a purpose, with a purpose, those things make life enjoyable. They're like little rewards that, they add to the journey. But really where you're going is that purpose and destination. You want to self-actualize and transcend. Transcending is going to meet God. Self-actualization is doing what God made you for. These two things. But buying a Benz along the way, why not? If that's what you're doing, that's a blessing. But if you don't have a purpose in your business, that Benz is what makes life bearable. There's a difference. One makes life enjoyable, the other one makes life bearable. That without these things, you are terrified. Now, when you're going to your business, the day it doesn't make the right sales, you are scared. BP is up. You are in trouble because now your stuff is going. You can't manage that life. Without those things in your life, you're depressed. You're gone. Out. So you're trying to avoid getting into the chasm of frivolity where the direction of your time, energy, and money is going directly towards fulfilling your emotions as opposed to fulfilling your purpose. Because if it is fulfilling your purpose, then all these social, and that's why I tell people, yes, you need to have your basics sorted out, your food, your security, that stuff. Understood. After that, don't fall into the trap of then sorting out social esteem and experience. That's the mistake. What you should be sorting out next is, what knowledge do I need to acquire so that I can self-actualize, so that I can transcend? If you start going after those, do you know that when you're now purpose-driven, Shadrach, the friends you pick, you start becoming more selective because those things are determined by your purpose. Not they're blocking you from your purpose. Now they're the things that determine. The things
and they just run out there one sometimes. They just distance themselves.
The things you value, the things that you think are valuable, all of a sudden next to your purpose, you start thinking, this can wait. You start prioritizing the experiences you want, but the work you're doing is already so experience is so fulfilling that the experiences you want are now just an icing. I'll go on vacation to this country, not so that I can value my life, because it's a lovely icing to the cake that is my life. And that's what I want as many of you who are building your businesses to think about. It's not happy all the way roses, but just what you're doing when you feel like you're making an impact and a difference and you're satisfying customers and moving their lives. And yes, they're paying you for it. And it's maintaining your life and everything. The things you buy are rewards for you fulfilling your purpose and going towards your purpose, other than the things that are keeping you alive. You don't
Yeah.
want your car to keep you alive. You don't want, that's what I said is called the chasm of frivolity. So what you don't want is the majority of your time, energy, and finance to be going to be lost at sea. Social, esteem, and experience and emotional needs. You don't want your money lost at sea, where your whole life has vanished. It was just about the weekends. You, after you've made your money from your business, you went to the bar. You were the one buying drinks. No one has remembered. You don't even remember how much you spent on drinks because you finished yourself.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
went somewhere to try and make life feel nice. Nothing. When you die, your business dies. It had no
Yeah.
purpose. It has no meaning. Your employees were stealing from you because what do they get from being here? So that's what I mean when I say the chasm of frivolity. I don't know what do you take. What's your take on that?
I think remember that's fundamental. You see, I usually tell people that are in bad relationships because I do family finance. So I talk about relationship more often than not. Behaviors, people that have a dependence to feel happy because someone else is standing next to them are easily disappointed
Mm-hmm.
because they
Hallelujah.
have an emotional attachment to things and to people. All right.
Hallelujah.
I'm going to tell you, Nyumba, I had a good number of friends, but now I no longer have a lot of friends. Not that they're bad friends, but I think I have a different purpose now. I think about things that are different from what some of my friends I had then were thinking about. So we are not enemies. We talk. I have some who are very close. We meet, we chat, but a number of them have just disappeared. It's like they are just like they don't take that they vanished. You get, not that they don't want me or they don't want them, but we are at very different wavelengths. Maybe they are busy. I'm busy, but maybe we have different what purposes in life. So now I'm beginning to. I find myself more with people that have similar mindsets with me. People that stand for something like I do. You understand? So this is why people say, people change when they have whatever. It's not that. Sometimes the purpose. When somebody discovers their purpose, all they can see is an opportunity to get to the end.
Yeah.
So if you are not part of the end, man, you're out of business.
You're out of the
You're
picture.
out of the equation.
You're
You're out of the picture. This is why people say he has changed. He has not changed. You're not just part of the process to the end. You are not. So don't feel bad
No,
about it.
don't even say you haven't changed. People say, Munyumba, yes, you're right. I've changed. The problem is you haven't. I mean, that's what I tell people. The problem is you haven't.
Fantastic.
So you want me to stick
Fantastic.
with you, stuck in this life that way.
And really, remember, change is good when you're growing up. When you're growing
Yes.
up, you have to change. You can't always have the same friends as when you are young. It means something is really wrong with you. I had people that were so close to me. Now when I look at myself, what was wrong with me? I had things I admired back then. Today I say, what was wrong with me? Because with growing up, comes responsibility. With experience comes knowledge and wisdom. So you begin to see things now differently. It's like what Professor Mumba said, that when he was a younger man, he could blow some punches, but now he can blow the same punch, but will put on gloves. But the impact will be the same. So you can say the same things that you've always said, but this time around you say it in a different way, but the meaning is the same. Have you seen? So I think that point you brought up, number is a fantastic one. Have some value just for yourself. Can you enjoy life without having a car? Can you enjoy life without having somebody saying, "Not, I love you so much. I want to be you, whatever it is." Can you just be happy being you? Can you enjoy your own company as a person? That gives you some measure of purpose. Because some people they can date even a lunatic just for fear of being alone.
It's
Yes,
true.
a lunatic comes around and they know it. This is a lunatic I'm dealing with. They know it. But what do? They go right ahead with a lunatic and they get pregnant for a lunatic. You get, but they always knew this will not be there. This lunatic will run away. They knew from the start, but because of fear of being alone, they went all the way down to the labor ward with a lunatic.
But adding to
You
that,
understand?
Shadrach, I've seen a lot of male, even men.
Yeah,
Let's even put this up. I've seen this with men entrepreneurs,
yeah,
guys who you've built wonderful businesses, but because
yeah,
now you're successful and you don't know what validating impact you have on society, they start
yeah,
sleeping around because
yeah,
these women are giving them the essence that they are a king.
Yeah.
By that act of moving around and playing around with women now, when they're a successful entrepreneur, now they feel like the king. It's the way to cement themselves in society. I'm a high value man because 10
Yeah.
women want me at the same time. That mentality, where there is no vision. If you have a vision, and you know the destructive force that playing around can do to you, you're not going to sacrifice what is in front of you that means so much for just these fleeting moments of pleasure to feel like the man. Your vision makes you feel like the man, even if nobody else can see it. But when it comes to life, they'll know the impact of it and they'll
Yeah.
live by it. But for me, whenever I hear that story of no, somebody got up in life and then they started playing around, guess what? That's because they never had a place to go. They just wanted to get out of that situation, and they've
Yeah.
gotten into that chasm of
Yeah.
frivolity, where
Yeah.
the things that they're chasing after in
Yeah.
in the long run mean nothing. And that's what
Yeah.
I've seen. I've seen a lot of male
Yeah.
entrepreneurs who have taken that route where now they're successful. I've got a side chick here, side chick there. The money from your business has to maintain this side chick, that one, and you're busy drilling the finances of your business to maintain a feeling of importance to a bunch of women who, the moment your business drops, will find the next guy with money. They will find the next guy and they will leave you in seconds.
Not
Okay.
even the next guy. Before you actually out of the picture, there's another guy who knows another
And
guy
yeah,
and another
you're probably even
guy.
competing with their, yeah, one of three that have to deal with that. And you're busy pouring hard-earned profits, which could be used to improve the business, to improve the outlook, because your purpose is lacking to the point where you're now chasing the excitement. Because
Yeah.
this is the
Yeah.
problem. When you
Yeah.
lack a purpose, as a person, you have to
Yeah.
chase something. You
Yeah.
have a choice. You will either chase excitement or you will
Yeah.
chase purpose. If you lack a
Yeah.
purpose, you're going to spend your life chasing excitement. Now, people who chase excitement are similar to those people. Have you seen those guys, Shadrach, who are trying to sweep leaves and the wind is
Yeah.
blowing? That is what chasing excitement is. Sweeping leaves when the wind is blowing and it's blowing everything away that you're piling up. So, to everyone, I think that we're now we're
Yeah.
getting to, I think,
Back
the
and forth.
second half of this, which is what we've talked about, the chasm of frivolity. Now, when you're now pursuing your vision, so this is the importance, as we've talked about a vision. I'd like to go back to it. Is a vision is important in that it gives you significance, it gives you meaning. Most guys, by the way, I'll tell you, most of you guys who are sleeping around, you're looking for significance. Most of you guys who are sleeping around, you're looking for significance. You're looking for guys to give you a high five. You're looking for significance, probably trying to escape someone, yes, but you're looking to feel significant, and having a body count of women is your way of looking significant. And I see that, unfortunately, once guys get a bit of resources beneath their belt, that they can go and start playing around. So if you have a vision, you get your significance from your vision and your purpose, as opposed to trying to get it from jumping into the sheets with all sorts of women. It gives you hope for tomorrow. It gives you simplicity. It gives you focus. It gives you more. Let's have the honest conversations here, Shadrach. Let's
Fantastic.
utilize these
I'm
platforms
telling
to
you,
be honest.
I'm telling you, that's fantastic. I just like
So
the
the
English.
the other thing I also wanted you to also look at is build your business from the core, knowing what brand you want to become. You are not going to become a brand on day one. That's what you need to recognize. But build it already acting like you're going to get to that brand. And then eventually, because a brand is not built by you just being alive. A brand is built by over time you delivering. How much you have delivered over and over again, that makes you a
Yeah.
brand in the people's eyes. You can market yourself as a brand, yes, but after a while, if you're not delivering to the customers, eventually you won't. And just remember the process of bringing a vision to life. Make it clear, bring it to life, write it down, turn it into a plan, find the smallest and simplest starting point, and start going from there with this whole plan to build it out. And be wary of falling into the chasm of frivolity. I just wanted to give that as the recap, as we're getting into the final leg of this, because now we're going to be talking about attacking the vision. Okay, because now we've talked about the reasons for the vision for these last 30 minutes. So we're going to talk about attacking the vision. And attacking the vision, the first part I want to talk about is obstacles, how to face obstacles, because you are going to need to recognize that your journey to purpose is not going to be without opposition. You are going
Yeah.
to have opposition from people. You are going to have opposition in the form of things. I call these the 4Ds, the 4 destroyers of your life. There are going to be people who are going to disapprove of what you're doing. Oh, Shadrach wants
Yeah.
to fix family finance, but who are you? How long have you even
Who are
been
you?
married, Mwana, to be doing that?
Yes.
There are
Yes.
those.
Yes.
They're going to
Yes. Very
doubt
much.
you. They're going to
Yes.
disapprove of you. They're going to discourage you. And they're going to try and do everything in their heart to delay you. I'm telling you, you're going to face 4 destroyers. And they're
Yeah.
going to come after you in that way. And it's going to be, some of them are even going to be the voices of the people who you've loved all your life. And then for the moment you now try and rise up in purpose, the devil comes through their mouths and they
Yeah.
start speaking
Yeah.
evil against you.
Yeah.
So you have to be
Yeah.
prepared for that. And in that, Ray Dalio gave us a wonderful 5-step process of how to actually fight this. Step 1 is identify your goals to pursue them. Remember, you've taken your vision, you've broken it into a mission. You've taken a vision, broken it into a mission, set a goal. And we'll go through goal setting now. But once you set a goal, you set a target. Then you have a milestone in place towards that target. Then you have an objective, kind of a tactic that you're going to employ. And then you have a daily action that you're going to do. What is the daily action? If you do not convert your vision into daily actions, and then those daily actions, if you want to lose weight, for example, the daily action is work out and eat properly. You can pray as much as you want to lose weight, but
Yeah.
I can tell you we've prayed, but it's only working out that has helped us a little bit. But it's
Yeah.
dedication towards those consistent steps that will
Yeah.
get you there. So you must identify your goals and pursue them. You are going to encounter problems. Do not lie to yourself. You are going to encounter problems. Encounter the problems. My rugby coach, when I was in grade 12, used to say the biggest problem with most rugby players is that sport is violent. So you're scared of seeing other people getting tackled. But what he said is the trick to being a good rugby player and having a good game is first go and get tackled. He said, once you
Yeah.
get tackled the first time, your body knows the feeling. You're used to it now. You know what to expect because 90% of the fear of getting tackled was the unknown of the impact. You didn't know what the impact was going to be like. Then the adrenaline hits you. Your bones are still in place. You're still alive. You're back up. And then what he says, step 3 is analyze the problem you face, identify the root cause, differentiate between symptoms and the actual behaviors. What are causing it? What's the causes? What's the symptoms? What's the behavior? And then what he says is design and plan a solution to eliminate this problem by going after the root cause of it and then execute. So if you do that, you've got this goal, you meet a problem, you say, what's the name of this problem? Let me plan. It's called a battle plan. People, if you want to have a battle plan, read The Art of War. The Art of War, you know, there are things like that Sun Tzu says, know your enemy as well as you know yourself. For if you know your
Yeah.
enemy as well as you know yourself, when you go into 1,000 battles, you will not lose. So know your
Yeah.
enemy. Learn the enemies of success. What are the enemies of the success of your building? And understand the enemies of your industry, not just your competitors. What about the regulators? What about all these things? You have a purpose, but you have opposition. You don't even lie to yourself that there's no opposition. God is on your side, yes, but the devil exists. And that devil
Yeah.
is going to come in the form of all sorts of things, be it the bank that rejects you for a loan, be it the opposition from your regulators who are holding back your license, like Shadrach last time was talking about he was trying to get that Teveta thing, and they start saying, no, where's your toilet? Where's your this? It's an online class,
Yeah.
but still, we want to see it. That is the devil trying to delay you. Okay?
Yeah.
Then you have to start working around that opposition. The devil will come to delay you. So diagnose it. Where's it coming from? What's the root cause? How can I get around it with the resources that I have right now? Become ingenious to it. Design a solution. But you do not have this, Shadrach. You cannot
Yeah.
have this fight to get through a problem if you do not
Yeah.
have the vision on the other side. Because Paul says,
Yeah.
and I keep quoting this verse again, for the pain we suffer now, for the suffering we endure now is nothing compared to the glory that shall be revealed to us in the
Yes.
future. If there's
Yeah.
no future glory, which is your vision, then
Yeah.
enduring the pain to go through a problem and getting stronger by getting out of that problem is not going to happen for you. So
Yeah.
the first thing you need to understand is understand how to name your problems and how to
Yeah.
battle your problems, because you're
Very
in
much.
war and they're going to discourage, disapprove, delay. They are going to push you back. The devil will take every form possible to stop you from fulfilling that which is in your heart and convince you to give up and to go do something you don't love, to chase money and to fall into the chasm of frivolity until you die so that he can take your soul. That is the reality of that journey of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So you have to have that vision to inspire you through it. Shadrach, how do you, I've utilized this, how do you deal with the problems along the journey?
Yes. Just like you, Mnyumba, what has helped me a lot is having something to look forward to. I think that's what has kept me standing. You see, there are times when I was starting my business, there are times where you have no clients, you're broke,
Yeah, those
you
days.
have no money, all right? And then you hear there's a company from the WhatsApp group where you belong where they're looking for an employment with a qualification as you. They want an accountant somewhere, and then you're broke. But you want to grow your business, but there's this job. And then you know, if I take up this job, it's going to take me twice as hard to grow my business because I need to put more in my business. But again, I need the money. So what do I do? So for me, what has kept me going over the years and just to be able to overcome obstacle is having hope for the better, hope for the future, having something to look forward to. I always ask my clients and say, you know what, if you are working so hard, right? Why are you working so hard? You work so hard, you save, you invest, you do whatever you do because you want better for yourself in the future, not just now, even though you don't realize it. So when obstacles come, because I have something to look forward to, I have a future that I envisioned for myself. So I have seen how this future can be brought into practice, into reality. No matter what comes my way, I just take it as a lesson to help me get better and stronger so that I can find ways of doing things. I love the way God does things. When God made human beings, Adam and Eve sinned, all right? They disturbed God's initial plan. But God had a purpose for mankind. He said, yes, the plan has been disturbed by Satan and Adam and Eve. But what am I going to do? I'm going to implement plan B because God has something bigger than just Adam and Eve. He had a whole generation of human beings in mind to come and enjoy this life, be fruitful, right? And do phenomenal things. So God had a higher purpose for mankind. This is why he did not just kill Adam and Eve and say, you know what, let me just kill and make other people. No, that could have made him fail to achieve its purpose. Have you seen? So because you have something that you look forward to, it will make you drive hard and just keep going. But again, I say one thing, and I say that you should have being wise is knowing when to quit. That's what wisdom is. Why didn't God give up on Adam and Eve? Because he knew that the outcome was greater than Adam and Eve. He did not give up on them. All right? That's why he did not kill them. But he provided human beings with an alternative to live happily ever again. So how about you, the business owner? What is it that made you start that business? Is it just about profit? Because if your motivation is profit, and then there's no profit, these are the people we see, they are from fish, charcoal, salaula. They try bonds, and then they said bonds take 3 years to mature, 5, They go to stock hoping that maybe stocks are going to grow faster. They just know actually dividends don't even come. What do they do? They begin to try this, try that. Before they know it, they are odd, still trying things. Lack of purpose, lack of something to look forward to. I have this diary here, all right? I have this diary here. And I always write things that I look forward to here. And every now and then I open my diary and I begin to read, right? Sometimes I'm discouraged. Sometimes I'm broke. Sometimes, like you said, I meet people that are so into. They look at me. They say, "This young guy, what does he know about family? Are you even married? What do you know?" All right. But again, I say, okay, fine. I'm qualified. I have these credentials, and I'm using my knowledge to help somebody improve their family, right? And I don't feel bad about it because I know that it shall be done. It's going to be achieved. People are going to embrace family finance. And people have seen that people are now embracing family finance. So no matter how bad the situation is, all right, what do? I keep moving forward. And I'm happy, just to announce here that, in the near past, I worked alone. I had no people to work with. Now, I have a team that I'm working with, guys. I am now paying somebody a salary, all right, from just being able to start something. I did not know how it was going to turn out, but now I can pay some people. Today, we're just interviewing somebody. The time you called me, we're interviewing somebody for a job here today. So why are these things happening? Because I had the vision Whenever obstacles came, I knew there are frustrations to success, and they're still coming. It's not the end. So I've understood my business. I know when I make money. I know periods when I make money, and I know periods when I don't make money. So I don't get discouraged because I've made losses. I learn from my losses, and I find alternative ways of getting to that which I desire so much. That's how I do it.
Yeah, no, and you see, it's because you have, like I said, that you pointed out, it's what is ahead of you. And remember, I think it was a time we spoke that there are three levels of sight.
Yeah,
There's plain sight, insight, and foresight.
yeah,
And if you have your vision is foresight, your expertise and understandings, and I love what you just said, Shadrach. What you want to see is better families. That's your foresight. Understanding the seasonality of your business, that's your insight. Okay. But the fact that right now it's a loss maker, that's your plain sight. Which one is going to dictate your actions? Because your actions are dictated by what you see. And if you're seeing
yeah,
plain sight, you'll be all over the place. If you have insight, you understand how things are moving and you know how to anticipate certain things.
yes,
If you have foresight, you are inspired to get through even those things that you don't even know.
yeah,
That's the inspiration comes at foresight. So remember, people, you have plain sight, but you want to move from plain with experience and vision. You want to move from plain sight to insight and foresight. Because if you can switch from plain sight to insight and foresight, you're more stable, you're more reasonable, you're less
yeah,
scared, you're more focused.
yeah,
Because this is the thing, the people who get through things that you can't even imagine, they do it with intense focus. Remember what we said earlier, concentration is what improves value. When you can
yeah,
concentrate, even when a mineral is highly concentrated, it has higher value, it fetches a higher price. So if you're
yeah,
able to concentrate, you're resilient. So I love the fact that we've been able to do that. Now let's get quickly through, as we talked about with vision. Remember, we're just in our last stretch here. You have to convert this into goals. And we talk about
yeah,
things like goal setting, because we're going to talk about SMART goals and aspirations. Goal setting, I think everyone has the standard SMART goal, which is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bound. I like to change it up a little bit. I like to change it up a little bit to specific. What is that goal? Like you've now taken this vision. What is the goal? Measurable. How do you measure its success? I say things like 1 million millionaires. So the number of millionaires is the measure. Okay. 1 million is that vision, that specific thing. Now, instead of attainable, I like to say actionable. Okay. Because every goal requires a consistent habit that you are able to utilize every single day. So
yeah,
if you don't have a habit, you say, I want to reach this goal. Okay, your goal is to run 100 meters. How do you run 100 meters? You move a step at a time. So the actionable part of running 100 meters is actually running each step. You can't float 100 meters. You can't blink and get to the 100-meter lines. Your feet have to actually move. So what is instead of attainable, people, because everything in this world is attainable. Everything. I want you to understand, everything is, if you can put an action to it. Okay? So it's actionable. The fourth one, which we used to say realistic, I want you to change that to relevant. How connected is this goal to your vision? How important is it to the actualization of your vision? Because if the goal is relevant, you'll be inspired to get through it. And then
yeah,
obviously time. So I just changed the A and the R. I changed it from attainable and realistic because those speak to less visionary. And that's what I have built myself by to say the goal should be specific, measurable, actionable, actionable, relevant, and time bound. And that's the
yeah,
switch that I've made that has changed a way that I deal with goal setting so that I'm not stuck by, because I hated that terminology of attainable and realistic. It's like I have to
yeah,
doubt myself. I understand, yes, but I believe, maybe I'm just one of those people because I'm future oriented because of my work. I believe that all things are possible. Is it the question is, are they essential? Everything a human being can do anything, Shadrach. People have flown to the
yeah,
moon. Human beings can do anything. Is it relevant? That's the important
yeah,
question. The
yeah,
question you should be doing to sieve out whether you should be doing something or not is it relevant? And
yeah,
actionable just simply means, can you bring it down to a small scale action? Can you turn,
yeah,
if you're saying you want to make 1 million kwacha a year, okay,
yeah,
let's say someone's goal is, say, we want to sell 1 million kwacha worth of, your product is, let's say, 500 kwacha. Let's say you've got a 500 kwacha product and you want to sell 1 million of them in a year. Okay. Then the actionable, then effectively for you to make that million kwacha, you have to sell 2,000 products. Okay. Now, how many weeks are there in a year? There's 52 weeks in a year. Let's even say 50. Let's just bring it down. 50, 52 might be holidays and stuff. There's 50 weeks. So you have to sell 40 products a week, 5 selling days. Can you sell 8 products a day? That's what you do when you say, can you say actionable? Okay. So if our goal is to sell 1 million, the actionable part is to sell 8. Now, is getting to 1 million, how does that feed into our vision? Does it feed into the vision? Yes. It's relevant to the vision. Yes, that's fantastic. Now, what time do you want to do this by the end of the year? So break down your goals. The new framework I will give you, you can follow it or not. You can deal with the old one. It's worked for me. Look, it works. The other one works for other people because they prefer it. But I just believe that it's limiting. The language realistic and attainable are mentally limiting words. They're mentally limiting words, but they do have you do have to look at it. But my view is that something is attainable if it's actionable. That's what I mean. It doesn't really change it. I've just changed the wording. It's attainable because it's actionable. It's not attainable. Something is not attainable if you don't have an action you can attach to it, because nothing can be reached without action. Don't crook yourself. Nothing can be reached without action. So switch it to actionable so that you ask yourself the question, what is the daily, weekly, or monthly action that I need to execute to reach this goal? That's the point I want to give us. With goal setting, Shadrach, what's your way of doing it?
So my way of doing it, I want to show what we do for families using the 10 budgeting process. So I've incorporated goals into budgeting. But because people make budgets every month, but they don't incorporate serious goals in there. But they just make budget for food, rentals, transport. So now here's how I've incorporated that one. It's not a complete document, but it's something that I believe can help somebody here. So if you look at this diagram here, it shows you the budgeting process, 10 steps to budgeting process. So I've changed this process a little bit. All right. For example, we say the first thing you begin by determining the timeline. Okay. Yes, it's important when you have goals. You want to know for example, numbers as a vision to have 1 million millionaires. By what year? Munyumba, do you have a timeline for that?
2050, bro.
By 2050, Munyumba has a timeline to his goal. Have you seen? By 2050, he wants to see 1 million millionaires. I have a timeline to my goals. But the most important aspect for couples is step number 2, agreeing on goals. And here's what I've put here on agreement on goals. If you look at this other slide number 2, it is showing you a husband and wife sitting together, planning together. Why do I encourage couples to agree on goals before goals are set? The issue that we have with a lot of couples, Munyumba, it's not that they are disorganized. It's not that they don't have the money. It is just the levels of disorganization. They work in isolation from each other. They when it comes to money, they act like they are strangers, like they don't know each other. When it comes to I love you, touching each other around in public, they are okay, but when it comes to money, they are total strangers. So this is why a lot of couples have failed to grow, because they don't agree on goals. Now, goal agreement is important, because talking to your partner about goals and reaching a common ground will help you set goals that benefit the whole family, not just one member of the family, but for the betterment of the family. So I like what you said. You said goals must be you've removed the realistic and you've put in the actionable, right? The attainable, and you've put in the actionable, and then you've changed the other one from
realistic to relevant.
Realistic to relevant. Now let's just talk about those two words, Munyumba, and how they make more sense here. See, when you are setting goals as a family, you're going to consider which goals are relevant to us according to our financial status right now. So relevance helps you understand and accept your current financial status. So when you are setting goals that are relevant, that speak to your current situation. All right, because you know that if we do A, B, remember I was saying, let's say for example, this couple here, they've understood their financial status and their lifestyle has been adjusted. Now they are saying, what are we going to do? We want to build a house, for example. So you can simply do this here. When setting goals, develop a draft expense budget, for example. Then instead of we want to build a house. So what remember I was talking about actionable is you have to come up with a way of getting to that part of the end. Say, okay, in quarter one, from January, February, March, we are going to save 20,000. Since my wife is working, my husband is working, so the two of us have 20,000. You are being real here. Actionable. There's action being involved. You get the money, like remember, it's actionable. You put from January to March, you'll be saving. You save 20,000 total. Maybe 6 months, five of 6,666 in a month. Then you go to quarter number two, you save another 20,000. So you've put up a plan that is realistic, that is actionable. Then what do you do in quarter two? You buy land. You remove that 20,000 there. Quarter three, you save 20,000. What do you do? You're going to use that 40,000. Now you have 20 plus 20, 40. You buy building materials. In quarter four, that is December, people get bonuses. They get gratuities. You've already planned for a gratuity. When the gratuity comes now, we are going to build and complete the house. You are setting goals that are actionable. You can take actions right now. So you look at your current financial situation as a couple. So when setting goals, it's important that you do what? That you understand you and accept your current financial status. So I agree with Mnyumba changing that statement to from just being attainable to actionable. Because if the building a house is attainable, yes, it's attainable. But is it actionable to you right now?
Yeah.
Can you manage to save 20,000 quarter every quarter? If it's not, if you can't manage, then that means this goal at the moment is not actionable. You can't take actions on this goal for now. It's like it's beyond your reach. All right. This is why I agree with you when you talk about how you've changed those two. So when it comes to family goal setting, the most important aspect for me is this part here: goal agreement. If people that are married, remember, can reach a common ground, you know what goal agreement does, guys? Goal agreement improves trust between people that are married, between relationship, people that are the same people. Goal agreement improves confidence because now you know that I'm head in this relationship. I can contribute to the well-being of the family. So it's not about me buying a latest Audi. It's not about my wife buying the latest BMW. It's about all of us coming to a common ground and say, how do we put our little monies together so that we can make this go an actionable one? All right, so that we can benefit as a family. Now, when both of you as a couple, you agree, okay, fine, all of us are going to benefit. There will be very less reduced financial induced fights. How are you going to fight, Mnyumba? Because now as a family, you have something bigger that you are looking forward to. Have you seen? You have something bigger looking forward to. Both of you are working towards something bigger than yourselves. Have you seen? So when it comes to goal setting, I think remember those two statements you've mentioned have really made a lot of sense. Guys, can we set goals that are actionable? Can we set goals that we know are relevant according to our financial status? Accept your financial status. And when it comes to accepting, remember, I make a very unpopular comment here. And I say this. A lot of people fail to achieve goals. They fail to accept one thing. They fail to accept where they are. This part, understanding and accepting your current financial status. You find that your cash flow is not the same as your lifestyle. People are living a lifestyle that is way out of their league.
Even businesses, private schools. Even businesses are running lifestyles with way out of what they're. This is not a personal problem. This is a business problem as well.
Yeah.
Some entrepreneurs are living. Someone is buying. I remember Dumisani and Lumbe talking about the car he had, and he was saying, people, there are a lot of things that kill entrepreneurs. Is your car is bigger than your business. If you're like people's lives, like people's lifestyles that they're living are 2 times that of the business that they're getting that lifestyle from, when it should be other way around. And it's because they don't accept their current cash flow. Someone's business makes 100,000 kwacha, maybe a month on the back end. And instead of using the typical thing where you're only supposed to be taking 20% of that money, this person is taking 80 to 100 of that 100,000. And there's nothing left for that business to grow because they don't accept the current status of the business. And they choose to live a lifestyle way beyond that, because they want to prove to society that they're a businessman. Because once again, Shadrach, just to add to this, they're in that chasm of frivolity. They're in that
Exactly,
place where
Nyomba.
they're trying to finance their emotions as opposed to inspiring their emotions through their business. That's where
Yeah,
they are. That's why they
that's
don't
very true,
accept
Nyomba.
that.
That's very true, and this is one of the challenges. Remember, I talk to couples about debt. You find that the couple they have a very nice car, they have a lot of expensive stuff in their home, a lot of things, but they are always depressed. They are stressed trying to borrow more debt to pay debt when they have something they can just let go and be free. Have you seen? So
Because
the
their emotions
inability
are
to,
tied to it.
yeah, the inability to accept your financial situation makes you come up with dongolistic goals. The moment you begin to understand your financial muscle right now, it is going to help you to come up with relevant goals. Because I know, like I was given an example of this couple here that says, okay, fine, we want to build a house, but is this goal actionable? Like I was saying, how much do we need to save per quarter so that we can buy land? Okay, there's land for 20,000 in 6 miles or in 10 miles. So, how long can it take us to save for us to buy this land? Have you seen? So, as a couple, what do? You sit down and say, okay, fine, for us to buy land in 6 miles, it's going to take us about how much? 20,000 kwacha. So for 3 months, we can save 20,000 kwacha. Maybe, mommy, you get paid this much. You'll be contributing payments of 4,000. I'll be contributing each month 4,000. We're putting together 8,000. Or maybe we're putting 3,000, me 3,000 each month, 6,000. In 3 months, it's going to be maybe 18 something, whatever it is. We go to this place and buy that land. It's actionable. You are setting a goal that is within what you can achieve, something you
Yeah.
can do, not just setting goals out of the blues because you want to show what you have big goals. No, this is real life. All right,
Not
this
social
is real
media
life,
goals.
not
So
social media goals. Set
so
goals that
just
speak to your family.
so
Yeah,
just to add, I think to add to Shadrach's thing before we go to the final point is that goals should be collaboratively created. We call it co-creation. Collaboratively create your goals. In other words, create them together in consultation with
yeah,
one another.
yeah,
And especially goal setting should be done in a way, like I said, of co-creation, and it's both your responsibility to come up with goals. Goals should not be imposed on one another, especially,
yeah,
and I'm not talking about this from a family finance perspective. I'm actually talking about this from a business perspective. Where there's more than one of you in the business, do not impose goals on each other. Sit
no,
down, come up with them together. This is how business partners fall apart.
yeah,
Okay, one of you, yes, may have had the vision, but let me tell you one thing I've often seen with visions. The vision carrier is not often the actionable person. Vision people are very in the sky. They're very forward thinking. I'm like that. And I'll give you a simple example. Me and Matthew. Matthew is very action today oriented. Okay, he's very bulldozer, kick the door down. That's how he operates. I'm very futuristic planning. So I always leave delivery and things like that to him. So when I give him a goal, when we sit down and say, let's have a goal together, he says, now let's break it down into action points. What are the things that we do? And then we work on it together. I've learned to give and take certain things. And he's learned that when it's time to look at direction, that's my side. I look at direction, he looks at delivery, and we work in synchronization. Be with people around you. If you are not the action person, you need action people around you. You need a teammate that does that, because if you don't have that strength, you will have pie in the sky goals without making them actionable and relevant to the current situation and simultaneously
yes,
relevant to the vision. A goal must be both relevant to the current situation and to the
yeah,
vision. If it's not
very true.
relevant to the vision, it's hard to inspire you. If it's not relevant to the current situation, it's hard to start. Okay?
Yeah,
This is the thing you have to look at. Don't give yourself more work trying to start something that's not relevant to your current situation. And then finally, I want to just break down one final point, Shadrach. I know we've really pushed it because vision and goal setting is a really important thing. The difference between an aspiration and an expectation. Because this is where people get this wrong a lot. And I'm going to give it to you from from investment tracking, as an investment language. An aspiration is something that has not yet come to pass that you'd like to achieve. It is based on a desire, okay?
yeah,
And that's what you're really trying to push for. An expectation is based on experience. You have
yeah,
seen something happen multiple times to the point where you know how it's probably going to happen. I can see how a stock or how a bond has performed multiple times to know what a bond is going, what it's probably going to be going forward. That's an expectation. I expect the fuel price to be a certain price. That's an expectation. An aspiration is the country trying to get the fuel price down. An expectation is what the past trends are. You must operate as a person between your expectations as your floor. Your baseline is your expectations. If you have no expectations, you have nothing to stand on when you're making decisions, when you're trying to move to
Yeah.
your vision. So you must have expectations. The expectation is the minimum outcome you're looking for when you have set a goal. The aspiration is how much you want to beat that goal by. Because people who are visionary, people who push themselves don't meet goals, they beat goals. Okay? That's what you're looking for. You set a goal with the intention of beating it. You don't set a goal with the intention of just getting to it. That's a very mediocre mindset that will not get a lot of people anywhere. So, if we're looking at trying to be a business community here, we need that pushing mindset where we don't just set goals. Set your goals based on expectations. If you know that Shadrach's situation was talking about, if you want to build a house, the two of you maybe the two of you are earning 10,000 a month, and you've decided that we're going to put 3,000 each together for this purpose of getting to this house, and we can save 6,000 every month and save 20,000 every quarter, or 3,300 each, and we're saving 20,000 every quarter. You're basing that 3,300 on the expectation, but you're also aspiring to say, if we come across any extra money that we can do, we can increase this number. That is aspirational. So if you're aspirational without expectation, you're going to be silly. You're going to have baseless assumptions on things that are not realistic. But if you have expectations without aspirations, you're never going to go further. You're not going to perform, and any shake or thing will push you away. You start with your expectation and you go to your aspirations. This is Grant Cardone's 10x principle, effectively. You have a goal, you 10x it, but your goal is not just to meet it. You say you're aiming to say, you'll say, look, we want to save 6,000 each together as a couple, but we're really hoping we can save 10. Our aspiration is to get to 10 or 12.
Yes.
And if we can find money around the house, if we can save up a little bit here, or we can sell something here, now you start to see them pushing themselves a bit because there's an aspiration. So always have an expectation to form the foundation of a goal, but have an aspiration to form the ceiling. Because if you have no aspiration, your expectations become your ceiling and you're limiting yourself again. Don't make goal setting a limiting activity. Don't make it a mentally limiting activity, but also don't make it a fairy dust activity. Okay? You have to blend reality with aspiration. So when you're setting your goals, your vision is your aspiration, but your actions have got expectations. There's expected outcomes. And what you're hoping is that the bridge between your expectations and your aspirations is your energy. The energy with which you give to something is going to move you from the expectation to somewhere towards the aspiration. So that's what you need to start looking at. Find that battle between the expectation and the aspiration, and we can actually move a bit further. That's something I wanted to give before I end today on some books I would like to give people to read when we're talking about purpose and effective behavior. But Shadrach, please give your thoughts on that battle between expectations and aspirations.
Expectations is what makes people disappointed more often than not.
No,
because
unmanaged expectations. Unmanaged expectations.
Because if you have wrong expectations, you're going to be easily disappointed. So, like Nyomba is saying, if you have proper expectations, like he is saying, we expect as a couple to save 3,300 each for the next 3 months so that we can buy land for 20,000 in the first quarter. Those are expectations. But we hope to save even 5,000 kwacha each if that's an aspiration. So indeed, expectations that are sound will give you purpose. They will give you, they'll help you. You know, there's something I want to remember about the brain. The moment you begin to commit yourself to something that gives you purpose and meaning, the brain automatically boom switches. It begins to find new ways of doing things. You begin to connect to people that connect you to achieving that which you desire so much. All right? Because you have right expectations. People that have wrong expectations, they are easily frustrated, and they're easily disappointed. They easily say, you know what, I thought you are this, but they came with wrong expectations. So always have right expectations. It is the right expectations that will help you to do better than you thought you would do, because you had the right expectations from the start. If you have wrong expectations, man, you are in trouble. You are
True.
in trouble.
It's
Yeah.
it's the truth. No, if I'll say it and I'll add to that, Shadrach, manage your expectations, but raise your aspirations.
Yeah.
Have big aspirations. So always put your goals in that. This is what I your expectations are what you can do now.
Yeah.
Your aspirations are, if I had a little bit of room, this is what I'll definitely go with.
Yeah.
Because what God sometimes does to people who are in motion is, yes, today you're saving 3,000, and God says, boom, you've got a raise, you've got a bonus, you've been given a bonus at work, 10,000. Because if you don't have aspirations, that 10,000 will be spent in silly ways. But
Yeah.
because you have aspirations based on your expectations as the second level of your expectation, you're going to channel those extra resources because God is blessing you because you're in motion in a way. He has now said, okay,
Yeah.
my children, you're working in this direction. Let me hit you with some more. Oh, today,
Yeah.
Shadrach, you are running your business. You are expecting 5 new clients. Today, I'm giving you 20. And now you're
Yeah.
thinking, oh, what do I do with these 20? How do I run with these? But if you have
Yeah.
aspirations, those 20 were already expected. That's the exceeding and abundant
Yeah.
mindset that I
Yeah.
just wanted people to think about. Just to
Yeah.
close up on some books I would like to just recommend to some people when it comes to purpose and life. One, Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren. It is the number one selling purpose book in the world. Let's not reinvent the wheel. It is a very strong book that talks about meaning of life beyond your basic life. Purpose Driven Life by Rick Warren is extremely important. Number two, Ikigai, The Journey to Life, which talks about making something. People, when you're making a business, make sure it's something that you're good at, something that you are something that you're good at, something that you love, that you're good at, that is of service to the world, and it pays you well. Okay? Make sure it pays. You must charge for it. Don't be silly. Yeah, an ikigai requires charging for it. Ikigai is something that was created by the Japanese. There's a book by by these Japanese philosophers where they interviewed the oldest living people in Japan, and they actually built them towards that. So the oldest living people in Japan were actually now brought and asked, "What was the secret of your happy and long life?" So an ikigai is a very important. That book is extremely important. If you're trying to bring your goals to reality, please read Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm giving you classics, people. And for those of you who need a link to Scribd, I have given you the link to Scribd multiple times, and I will give you the link again to Scribd in the comment section right at the end when we're signing off. But Scribd is an application where you can just click this link I give you here, and when you click that link, you get 60 days free if it's your first time ever signing up to Scribd. And there are 10,000 books on that application in audiobook format and in ebook format and PDF for you to be able to read using your phone or your computer, whichever way you find comfortable. You can actually enjoy that. So 7 Habits of Highly Effective People to bring your goals to life, Purpose Driven Life, and Ikigai to help you develop a vision in your life so that you can go through that exercise. And for those of you who want to learn to push yourself, there's also 10X Rule, by Grant Cardone. It's a very important one. He's very pushy in life, but it's actually somebody who teaches you to push yourself through your goals. And he talks about how he sacrificed for the certain things that he wanted to achieve. You to those are 4 books I could recommend. Shadrach, you are free, my brother, to even give in some more recommendations. But I'm going to give you the link to Scribd here in the
I
comment
have
section
books here,
so
guys.
that you can, yeah.
And if you can see, this is why we don't just preach what we don't do. But this book is called A Purposeful Journey into Life, Love, and Happiness. This book. You can see
Okay.
that, right? Yes, this book. Guys, this book is a bomb. This book was done by Hamd Javaheri. This book was bought for me by Dennis Lilonga. He invited me for lunch, and this guy, I don't know how he knew that I love books, and he brought this book and he gave it to me. You know what? I brought for a present, and then he gave me this book and he wrote something here, and he told me, "I hope this book gives you the happiness." And he wrote all those nice messages behind here. I've been reading this book, guys. This book is good for purpose. So Mnyumba's read books about purpose. I have read books about purpose. So we're not talking from without. When you have purpose in life, purpose will give you a certain standard of behavior. If you see, I have books I'm reading here. I'm currently reading this book here. All right, it's about property by Mr. Sebo Fumbeshi. I'm reading this book. I've read this book by Edwin Ngwani, Flip the Coin. I've done this book. I've read this book here, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've finished this book, and I've read several other books down here. So I always have something to feed my mind to help me achieve that which I desire. I've read about purpose. I've read about property. I've read about money. I've read about behaviors. So I've read all these things. Why? Because I have a certain purpose. So even you guys, as you are trying to achieve something bigger, something that you so much desire, can you also keep on increasing in knowledge? Buy books. This book is with Oasis and Campus, A Purposeful Journey into Life, Love, and Happiness. Hamd Javaheri. It's a very, very beautiful book, guys. I recommend this book if you want purpose. I think I'll even be able to share in the comment as soon as I can. So, guys, I want to say thank you so very much, Mnyumba, for this fantastic show. It's been nice. I'm very grateful for our audience who've been here. Guys, it's not easy for people to stay for 2 hours to listen to two guys who are talking. A lot of people are watching movies, dancing around, but you are here trying to feed your mind with something positive and beneficial. We appreciate your time, guys. We don't take this for granted, right? We don't.
Yeah.
Remember, I would have loved to, if you could just, I've included also this. Let me just include this book, A Purposeful Journey into Life. All right, so it's let me just include this one.
Okay.
Purposeful
And
Journey.
everyone, yeah. So as Shadrach is entering those, people remember I actually even did a vision course. I will be opening up even our business from even our financial advisory side to our vision coach, Dr. Joy, who will be working with some of the people to help them establish their visions in their life, in your life as well, so that your journey to saving and investing, or your journey to even just business building, is not just something that you can't do. It gives you intentionality. That vision will actually give you an intention to follow. So please watch out for that. We're adding that to our service pool as well. But it is really important to start somewhere and to get started. I pray for as many of you right now that God will give you a revelation that you're not just going to live a life in the chasm of frivolity, but you are going to live a life of purpose, that you are going to achieve and impact something so great. You're going to do something mighty with your life. If you're building a business, look beyond the lifestyle that you have, because it will be detrimental to build that business for so long, put in so many hours just for the things you spend that people are just going to take, finish, throw away. Instead, look to make an impact that will outlive you. And with that, Shadrach and myself would like to say thank you to everyone for being with us. Vision has been an important thing. Building a purpose-driven business is an extremely important thing. And we pray that as many Zambians start to become purpose-driven entrepreneurs. Shadrach, wishing you well. To everyone
Thank
there,
you very much, Mnyumba.